And we're rolling.
Sweet. Well, cheers.
Cheers with some ice Java.
Thanks for having me on.
Dude, this is so cool. I'm super stoked to have you.
Me too, because like I was telling you, I'm like obsessed with podcasts lately. That's like all I listen to. I spend all my time just listening to a bunch of different people on podcasts.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and you were talking about Lex Friedman.
Oh, yeah.
One of your faves.
He's my crush. Yeah, he's so cool. Just like the way he interviews people and like navigates conversation, like it just draws you in.
Sick.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's interviewed some like really cool people.
Is there one favorite that like a favorite episode or one that you could think of?
Well, definitely. I mean, like the first one that comes to mind, especially when I was talking about like how good he is at navigating challenging conversation, was he interviewed Kanye West, and that was an interesting conversation.
Wow. Yeah, I bet that's a heavy name too.
Oh, yeah.
Heavy character.
And Kanye was bringing up some really heavy stuff on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Lex just handled it like a pro.
Well, yeah, Lex is Jewish, and Kanye did not shut up about...
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, but it was cool to see him navigate that when he was feeling uncomfortable or getting frustrated, but, like, genuinely sees people as humans, and... Yeah, I don't know. Love him. He's always like repping peace and love and...
Sick.
Yeah.
He's like a guitar player too, huh?
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that.
I think he's like pretty badass at guitar, I think.
Yeah. I know that he
has
like does martial arts.
He's like a black Stratocaster, like he's jamming. I think there was like something about like a video or a photo of him like in the Tesla, like playing guitar because the car is driving itself.
Yeah.
So he's like in his Tesla and it's taking him wherever he needs to go, and he's like playing guitar.
Oh, I'm so gonna look this up.
I think I've seen that.
I call him my crush, and I don't even know.
I didn't click on it and like explore it, but I think I just saw something that ran past me. I'm like, oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'd be scared to do that. Self-driving car.
Yeah.
And then just start playing guitar and just like forget about it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The technology of cars is like trippy.
Oh.
Well, I know Tesla's like next level on that. But like even my mom's car has got like some smart stuff, and she was telling me the other day she's trying to merge off of the interstate, and it's like if there's a white straight line, it doesn't recognize that that's a place that you can merge off. So as long as it's dotted, then the computer recognizes, well, it was just a white line, and she's trying to merge off, and the car's like pulling her back onto the interstate, and she's like, what the heck?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary when it's making decisions for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah. Another cool thing about Lex, he does the AIs. He builds AIs, robots. He's all into that. And so he interviews a lot of people lately about like AI. Everything that's popping up with AI these days, which is mind-blowing and a little scary.
It's scary.
But exciting.
It is.
We can figure out how to use it for good.
Yeah, of course. You know, that's the thing is the good and bad and the uses, you know, how it's going to all play out and who gets the, you know.
Have you messed around with ChatGPT?
I've heard about it. I have not messed around with it.
Me neither. I was thinking about it, and then Trevor was like, well, I started to fill out the stuff, but he was asking me a lot of personal information, and then I got nervous, so I like didn't go on there. But a friend of mine at the gym, he uses it for his work as like an assistant to like help him research some stuff faster than he normally would.
Sure.
And he's able to like fact check it so before he like goes and uses it for work, and he says it's
pretty spot on.
Awesome. Yeah, next level.
I'm sure it's like anything else, it's like a good tool,
you
know, but it's just long as it's not like
as long as it stays a tool.
Overdone. It doesn't become sentient or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And also like one fear I have with it is like the art and music.
Dude, the art is like
all kinds of art and
mind-blowing.
music, because it's almost like it can not replace, but I mean, I guess it can.
Replace.
It can basically replace, and then it can write songs for you and stuff, and you're just like, I think eventually that's what I'm scared of, is like losing the human aspects of art and music.
I totally agree.
Film and video and just basically all the arts. I don't want it to be subsidized by machines, you know?
Yeah.
But
I'm with you on that.
that's one thing that I'm kind of like, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah. So my uncle, he actually started an Instagram page where he's using AI to create these images that he's telling. And so he's got like an AI art page, which is really freaking cool. So it's like, it's still his art, but it's like, I'm not entirely sure how he does it. My assumption is he's typing details out into a paragraph and then the AI is like drawing.
Sure.
Yeah. But it's really cool. And he loves it. It's like his pastime. He's like creating this AI art.
It's a trip because it's still, I mean, it's still your idea and you're like, oh yeah, it's still my art. But you're like, is it, you know, I mean, at what point?
At what point is it not?
You know?
Yeah.
I think like that happened with like digital art too. But I mean, I don't know. Digital art's a whole other thing too. But it's still yours.
Mm-hmm. Well, like with the music thing, I mean, it's getting all of its information off the internet. And so it's like grabbing from this artist, and then putting it together. Like, is there copyright issues in that? How do we figure that out?
Who knows? What it does is it hones in on the formula of like chord progressions and certain melodies or things that work.
Yeah.
You know, that are like...
Or mimicking other artists.
Mimicking, yeah.
Like, I remember hearing something about how there was this thing where like one came out, a song got like viral, and then it found out it was an AI built song and it sounded just like Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody's like, wait, what? That wasn't Drake?
Dang.
Yeah. But it's cool. Yeah.
You never know where it could go with AI.
No, you can't. But yeah, I mean, I listen to a lot of podcasts. Lex is definitely somebody I really like to listen to. I listen to some Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
But I get a lot of my news from podcasts.
Me too.
Yeah.
A lot of like learning.
Yeah, tons of learning.
Just information. Mm-hmm. Yeah, news. Right?
Super cool stuff. And like, my favorite thing is that like, if I hear about a topic, I can then go find the specialists who've had conversations and interviews for like hours, and I can just like dive deep into a
very specific thing.
Yeah.
That's what's really cool about it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man, same thing for me. Like podcasts, I don't know.
Do you have any favorites?
I think when it started for me was when we had the skate shop on New York Street. This podcast called The 9 Club came out roughly a little bit before we opened the shop over there.
Yeah. What was that? What was that place called again?
Curb Appeal.
Curb Appeal.
Yeah.
I worked there.
Wait a minute.
I worked there for like a couple months.
At the shop?
At the shop.
Oh, no, wait. You might have worked at a different one.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I don't know. It was the one that Brad started back in high school.
Extremely Bored.
That's what it was.
In the Granada Center.
Yeah. That's
because I thought you were joking for a second, like you worked for us, like because you came down to New York Street one time.
I did.
That was like one of the last times that we actually.
Yeah, no, I didn't work.
Got to talk, but there was a bunch of us there that day. It was cool.
Yeah, that was fun. I actually have a photo. I'll send it to you.
Sick.
Yeah.
That was a good day.
Yeah, Corey was there. Fabian.
Yeah.
Lane. Ziggy was
Jared.
there. Jared was there.
JoJo.
Yeah.
Joey D was there.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of us there.
There was a bunch.
Yeah.
I know, and I was just randomly visiting. That was a good day.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Dang, when was that?
Must have been between 2016 and 18.
Okay.
Because that was the little
I was about to say
span.
Like 2017 or something.
Probably right in there, yeah.
Yeah. Dang.
But yeah. So the 9 Club is
the 9 Club.
skateboarding podcast. But when we had the shop on New York, we'd just be chilling, you know, waiting for someone to come buy some stuff or whatever. And we'd be having skate videos on a lot. Mm-hmm. And we had like a lot of VHS and DVD, like old videos. Because before internet, you know, that's what, like our skate videos. We used to watch them over and over again. Yeah. So we'd start playing all our old videos on the shop TV and have the magazines. We just had the whole kit, the whole scene. Yeah. You know? But then like some of the homies were listening to the 9 Club, and I was like, oh, this is tight. It's like skaters being interviewed.
The 9 Club.
About how they got sponsored or how they came up or like what they're doing now or like now they own a company. How does that work? And just the whole skateboarding. Like I think their slogan is the show that has skaters talking or something like that. Real simple, you know? Yeah. So I really,
but catchy.
really got into the 9 Club. And then, of course, I'd see like JRE clips on YouTube, you know, like the little shorts, or not the shorts, but just snippets of Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then I kind of started getting into that. And then eventually got like Spotify or something, but I probably didn't have any Spotify or something like a while back, you know?
Yeah. Well,
And
Spotify makes it pretty easy for you, right?
pretty easy.
Yeah.
And I maybe watch them on YouTube before, but then after I got Spotify and all that, then it didn't replace listening to music, but I'd say that I almost listen to podcasts more than music.
Oh, okay.
As far as being in the car
Yeah.
and going on a long drive or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, I'll listen to music, but a lot of times I would just not listen to anything.
Oh.
You know, just drive.
Just
and
chill.
just your thoughts and just
in
whatever.
present moment.
But I just didn't always want to hear music, which is weird. I mean,
I don't like listening to music when I drive these days either. That's when I listen to a lot of my podcasts.
but podcasting
Yeah.
kind of came in, and I was like, oh, I like this. Because you can, or even working around the house, or I'm building something or doing some long project where you're working on something all day,
Yeah.
and you could just listen to whatever. You
Yeah.
know?
That's me all day long.
Yep. I love it.
I'll just like go through them. Yeah.
And then, you know, sometimes they're like, it's like gold mining. You just never know what you're going to find. You'll click on a random one, or it might not be a random one. Let's say it's somebody that you follow already, like say like a Joe Rogan Experience, right?
Yeah.
For instance, I'll go on there and I might look for like one of the newer ones, but I might not know who any of these guests are.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll just be like, oh, that one sounds cool, like the description.
Yeah.
That one might be interesting, and then you click on it and you're like, damn, that was really cool. Or
Yeah.
you pick a random comedian, and they talk about the coolest stuff.
You know what's funny? I
you know?
actually skip over the comedians all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I like when the doctors and the scientists are on.
Like
that-
Huberman.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love Huberman.
Yeah.
So he's like in my top 3. Yeah, for sure. I listen to him a lot. Well, because he does a lot of like sports science stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's rad.
I found him on the 9 Club too. They had him because he talked about like neurochemistry of skateboarding and like just the whole, like his whole thing, but through the
I
lens
need
of
to
skateboarding.
hear that.
Because he grew up skateboarding
Yeah, and I didn't know that.
in like San Francisco and stuff.
That's cool. Yeah, I would say that like both Lex and Hubert. Well, so I found Lex through Joe Rogan's podcast, and then I found Huberman through Lex's podcast. Yeah.
Yep.
And then usually when I listen to somebody, I'll then like find other conversations with other people, or if they have like if I liked a conversation between like Joe Rogan and somebody or Lex and somebody, I'll go follow their podcast.
Right.
Yeah, and then I've just
That opens
like
up a whole thing.
yeah, it's amazing. Like,
You hear some cool people. Like one of my favorites is David Goggins.
yeah,
That dude.
dude, he's got the world record of pull-ups.
He did.
Who beat him?
Cameron Haynes' son. This dude Cameron Haynes.
Yeah.
He's another one of those just gnarly
Like how many
athletes.
thousands
So
in
his son-
24 hours?
Yeah, David Goggins' original record was like 4,027 or something.
Yeah, in like
24 hours.
24 hours, yeah.
And then Cameron Haynes' son did it, and then, but I think Goggins has just had some Instagram clips recently about him training to do it again.
Oh yeah,
So
I bet.
I think he's gonna do it again.
Yeah, he's
And
super competitive.
If anyone will do it, it's him.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy's a
Yeah.
beast.
So then I got into audiobooks
Oh yeah.
because of you'll find an interesting person, and maybe they, like the Goggins books. Those,
Yeah.
I've listened to his books a couple of times.
Oh cool. So I mostly listen to like sci-fi fantasy stuff on audio
Sick.
or Audible. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's
I
where I
haven't-
keep all my Harry Potter books.
Nice.
The Shadow and Bones series, that one's a really good one. And I didn't even know it was a book, and then I saw it on Netflix. I watched the Netflix series,
Shadow and Bones.
the Shadow and Bones Netflix series, and then when I
Nice.
found out it was a 8 series book, or like 8 different books.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's really good.
Is it one big story or is it 8 separate?
It's like 8 separate stories within one big story, but it's like they talk about like the different groups going on, and then like all of a sudden they're all
It all
linking
pieces
up together. Yeah,
Cool.
so it's pretty cool. Yeah.
I like stuff like that. It blows my mind how people can like come up with something like that as the creator, to manifest all those ideas and put them
Yeah.
together, and then you're like, it's just mind blowing. You're like, where did that come from? The muse or whatever, like invited that
Yeah.
whole idea.
It's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to think what other books have I like.
Because some of them are so well thought out.
Yeah.
Where you're like, its whole story and this character development is so interesting, and then there's this other story and this whole character development's interesting, and then like they somehow come together, and then there's this other big huge thing, and I mean like I don't know, there's just something really cool about shows and movies and books.
I would say I'm like definitely
level.
into that like fandom stuff where I want to know every little detail about every character. So when randomly this character drops in another book, I'm like, oh, I know all about that character. Because this other book was all their story. Yeah, it gets me all excited and hyped.
Nice.
Yeah. Those are like the kind of series that I will listen to over and over again.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you find that listening is like better or more effective than reading? Like, do you read at all anymore?
I don't really read that much anymore.
You probably did when you were a kid, huh? I used to read a lot.
You know, I'm not a good reader. Reading was like very challenging for me. It wasn't until I graduated high school that I like put effort into reading. And it was me like reading teen books, so like Harry Potter, Twilight, Divergent series, Hunger Games, and then that's when I finally got better at reading. But it's because I had to like put effort into it. Now I don't really have the time when I sit around, and I usually fall asleep if I'm reading it.
I know, man, it puts me to sleep.
Yeah, so definitely like listening to it now. At least I get to enjoy the stories still. Yeah. But I do like to read. You're
still consuming it in the same way, and you're still putting all that together, and you're having that visualization. So I don't think it's any less. Look, dude, reading is way more pure than audiobooks. You know, there's some purists out there.
That, I'm not a purist.
Like I like listening to stuff because you can like do the dishes or do like household chores and get shit done, or drive. You're on a long ass drive, and like you're still finding entertainment. It's not necessarily music, but. It's just like it fills a different space. I really like it with driving or doing mundane chores or like a.
When I'm cooking dinner, I listen to.
Yeah.
Well, mostly like news podcasts. Yeah. Political stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. But no, I was like driving back and forth from here to Albuquerque a lot. A lot.
That's a good little drive, what, 3.5, 4 hours?
Yeah, about 3 hours and 15 minutes. I got it down to that.
That's pretty efficient, yeah. Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I actually enjoy that drive. It's really pretty.
It is.
One of my favorite spots of that drive is Alamogordo driving into Carrizozo around like 7 a.m. Yeah, headed to like Albuquerque.
Because you got the sunrise.
You got the sun, and just like the way that like, I don't know, there's just that little mountain in Carrizozo all by itself, separate from the other like the.
I know, yeah, it's beautiful.
Ridge. And it's like this deep golden color into almost like blackish green, and it's just beautiful. I actually envisioned getting like married like right there. But I mean, it's private property. There's no.
It's that's cool that you say that though. When I was going to school in Cruces, I'd commute sometimes. Actually a lot. I'd commute from Alamogordo to Las Cruces. But same thing. I'd be taking off early in the morning.
Yeah.
So headed west. The sun would be kind of a little bit behind me in the sky a little bit. But a lot of times the moon would still be out too.
Yeah.
So you'd have like the sun and the moon in the sky at the same time, or like, and there'd be like all these really vibrant desert colors, and then there's like these. Every now and then there's these little mounds, like these little kind of side hills.
Yeah.
They're not any part of the main mountains. But there's these little dome mountains out there, and there's like low-lying clouds. And I'm like...
It's beautiful.
It's almost like some Star Wars type shit. Yeah. Where it's like you're on a different planet almost.
Those Oregon mountains...
Oh,
yeah, they're from a totally different planet.
It's crazy.
Sometimes I like to think like, what happened to make them so jagged and spiky and like...
I think I learned that at one point and then I've since forgotten. Because I asked somebody and they were like, oh, here's why.
Yeah.
Someone explained it to me before and then I forgot.
Yeah. No,
I bet you my friend Jason would probably know. He hikes up there all the time.
Yeah.
And he's a super smart dude. He's like a plant scientist, biologist kind of guy.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Fetchner.
Yeah. But he was on your...
Yeah, he was on my
Okay, I saw his name, but I don't think I actually know him.
I need to get him on again for a redo.
And if I do, I'm sorry, I don't remember. I feel like I forgot like a lot of people's names, but not faces.
Yeah.
I'm like a face person. When I see somebody's face, I'm like, I don't remember your name, but I know you. What's up? How you been?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, names come and go.
Yeah.
Especially the further that you get in life, because then there's just been so many more names
Yeah.
that you've had to remember.
Yeah.
And then the old ones, you're like, wait a minute, what was that guy's name again? You know?
Yeah, pull out the yearbooks.
Oh, man.
Actually, I don't really pull out the yearbooks all that much.
Yeah, that's kind of
But
scary.
I was gone from Alamo for a long time. I mean, I moved like right away. And
After high school?
Yeah.
So you graduated, what, 07-ish?
07, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I went to British Columbia.
No shit.
Yeah. I was there for 2 years, lived there for 2 years right after high school.
Was that soccer stuff?
No, that was hair and makeup school.
Oh, rad.
Yeah, I went to become a professional makeup artist. And then I was like, yeah, I really want to do hair too. And the school that I went to just recently started a hair program because they were strictly makeup. And then they were like adding on. And so I stayed and did their hair program. It was pretty cool.
Sick.
Yeah. It was an experience living in Canada for sure. Like my first time away.
Away.
3,000 miles away.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Drinking age was 19.
Sick. Were you like at a school in a dorm kind of thing, living with a family or something?
Nope. I had to, I actually found my first housemates on Craigslist there. Yeah.
That's what's up?
Yeah. And they all worked for the film industry, which was pretty ideal because like professional makeup artistry and everything, I was thinking I was going to do film industry work. And then quickly found out after volunteering through school that it was not my jam.
Yeah?
It's cool, but it just like it wasn't for me. I like the personal, the one-on-one, but all this like hurry, now wait for hours. Now I'm coming to tell you, oh, I need this done. And then I'm saying like, oh yeah, that's a 5-hour makeup process. Okay, can you do it in 2 hours? No, I said it was 5 hours. Like,
Yeah.
You're asking for special effects here. Yeah, so it was a fun experience. Like, I learned a lot. And then I figured out, like, okay, actually, I want to do something more like salon work or, like, have my own, like, booth where I have just my clients. I got into doing, like, weddings, and so that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Cool. Like doing hair and makeup for the whole like bridesmaids and everybody.
I would do both. Yeah.
And grooms too, right? Or mostly women, girls.
Mostly. Sometimes I'd style the guy's hair.
You still can. You can. I mean,
yeah, but it was definitely mostly for like the women.
Cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just making people look good, huh?
Yeah.
Just making them all fresh.
Yeah.
For the big day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Which I didn't really start doing that until I like moved back to Albuquerque after being in Canada for 2 years. Because I wanted to actually stay there. So if you're there for 2 years, you can apply for residency.
Nice.
But you also have to be able to get a job. And the salon that wanted to hire me, we filled out the paperwork and we sent it to the consulate. And pretty much, sadly, they were like, well, you're American. And there's a ton of Canadians who can do the same job. And if you go back home, you will find a job really easy. So we're going to have to deny you.
Ooh,
like,
yeah.
We're going to give the spot to somebody else who needs it a little bit more. And I was like, oh, okay,
Dang.
I'll go home.
That's crazy how they just lay it down, huh?
Oh, yeah. They're actually pretty strict about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel for your situation, but I can almost relate to them.
Oh,
They're
I
like,
can totally relate
like,
to them.
Yo, we're going to keep it internal first.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, like, if there's some room for you, maybe later.
No, I completely agree.
But
it still stung so hard.
I feel like we should do shit like that,
Yes, I think so.
I feel like a huge problem, like, with America is,
Yeah.
like, just, like, focus on everybody else but us. And you're like, dude, what a
Yeah.
way to, like, self-destruct,
Yeah.
Not
Well,
that-
I definitely feel a lot that way lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that we need to focus on here in our own country.
Self-care is everything.
And I feel like
on
we're not.
a micro and a macro level, and you're like, bro, Like, we got to take care of this fucking ship or it's going to sink, you know?
Seriously.
And then you're not helping anybody.
No. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It does seem like it's a bit of a mess.
It's really crazy. Unprecedented times. Yeah.
Dude, that's like the big word to say these days.
Yeah. It really is. I've talked to a lot of people about it, but there's been a shift. There's like a weird shift.
Yeah.
Something to do with the technology and then the political spectrum and like just everything got different, you know?
It did.
And a part of it's like, oh, like we're getting a little older and you're coming of age and you're starting to be like, wait a minute, policy, that affects my life? What? That's fucking bullshit. And like,
yep.
you know, when you're a kid, you don't care about any of that stuff because it's just,
no, we're just being kids.
You're not aware of it, you know, ignorance is bliss kind of thing. But later on when you're like, wait a minute, what? Mm-hmm. Like that's going on? Like I can't be like supporting that or like, you know, or whatever it is, you know, and then you start digging through it a little bit and then you're like, you know, it's just crazy.
It is crazy.
Not that I know anything, you know, but I mean.
Yeah, I dive deep into a lot of podcasts about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, one that is like, like in my top 5 is Your Undivided Attention, and it's by the guys who did Social Dilemma. Did you ever watch Social Dilemma? They were the Facebook whistleblowers who did
I don't think I watched it, no.
the documentary about Facebook and the dangers of Facebook. Yeah.
I heard about something like that. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's really good.
It.
So during the pandemic, Netflix showed it.
Okay.
And then they started doing their own podcast and doing this humane technologies movement. And the reason I loved it so much is they like started to like educate you on why you might be feeling a certain way after you've been scrolling for a certain period of time. Yeah, and then like how that all adds up, how it affects the brain, the youth, the dopamine dumps, and
crashes.
Yeah, and it's just really cool because they give you all the science. What was interesting, their very first episode dives into the science of gambling and how to keep people on the gambling machines because there's an actual science to it.
Yep.
And then that ties into how do they keep you on their social media apps and how do they keep you scrolling and clicking and liking and sharing. Yep. And it's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're doing this on purpose, aren't they?
Of course. Oh yeah.
Actually,
There's no accident.
Yeah. But I love it because like one of the things that they say is like, you know, these big tech companies, they like, we need them, but they're also bad for us, but they're also not trying to protect us. So let's teach you how to protect yourself.
There you go.
Yeah, and so I really like them a lot too.
The Social Dilemma?
Well, the Social Dilemmas
is
the documentary. Definitely watch that. That one's good. And then the same guys who do that have Your Undivided Attention, and that's their podcast. Yeah.
Undivided Attention.
Undivided Attention.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's really good. Yeah.
Is it a lot of the content is based around that kind of stuff?
It's all about trying to have the conversations and be thinking about how can we be creating the technology that we're using every day, but making it safe for us, for our brains, for kids.
Oh, man.
How can we use it to lessen the divide politically, where it's pretty much the reason we are divided politically, kind of things like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff.
Super powerful. Yeah.
Crazy.
And empowering. Because like I felt empowered by listening to it. Because I know like during the lockdowns, I'd catch myself just like scrolling and watching reels for like 4 hours.
Oof.
And then I'd get off of it and I'm like, oh my God, 4 hours just went by.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just like, I'm exhausted. I feel kind of depressed. Just like all these other aspects kept like popping in. And at least I was like being aware of it. But then once I started listening to them, I was like, oh, well, you're explaining why I felt that way. There's like an actual reason why I felt that way. So then I would like start setting timers.
Yep.
So if I started to scroll, then I had a timer that I'd set, and that was like a recommendation that they would do. They're like, hey, set a timer, you know, then you can still enjoy it, but you're not like.
Now you know.
Yeah, you're
At
not
least you
like
know how much time you're
over scrolling. over consuming, because all it is doing like this crazy dopamine dump in your brain. Yeah.
Ooh, it's gnarly.
It is gnarly, yeah.
I know we do that too, because like, for instance, I used to just go to YouTube to specifically watch a specific thing.
Yeah.
But then after a while, I started going to YouTube just to see what it has for me.
Yeah.
And then now it's like a regular thing where I'm like, I wonder what's on. Like, it's almost like channel surfing, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's my version of TV. I don't really watch TV. I watch with Amy. I'll watch shows and stuff.
Yeah, we don't have TV either.
But no TV, like television service or whatever. And I'll watch shows sometimes on my own. Like if there's something that really grabs me, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Very rarely. But then most of the time, she's watching something, and then I catch snippets of it, and then I get sucked in, and then maybe she'll start it over, and we'll watch it together or something. But YouTube, though, like I've just been on that YouTube stuff, you know, for a long time. But I gotta even be careful not to just go down that rabbit hole of just being on YouTube forever, just watching whatever it is, even though it's all good.
Yeah.
I mean, all the people that I've subscribed to or whatever, it's mostly what it is, you know.
Oh, like, see, that's good. See, you subscribe, so then you're like, your feed is showing you stuff that you're interested in. Yeah. Yeah, because like, I don't know, it drove me crazy when Instagram started doing the reels.
Yeah.
And I like to see people's pictures. Like, I was intentionally going on Instagram to get away from like video reels.
Yep.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it was just like all video reels. And I was like, man, this sucks. Because it was a bunch of random stuff. I'm like, I don't really want to see that. So I'm just flipping.
Ugh.
And like, I'm like, this doesn't make me feel good.
No. No.
Yeah. I find I don't really get on there all that much anymore. I'll like get on to post occasionally.
Yep.
Check up on people. I do better and I feel better when I do it, when I just like, I scroll just for like maybe 2-3 minutes and then I set my phone down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be on there too long.
No.
Go on the comments and all that stuff.
Oh, see, I was never really much of a comment reader.
Yeah. No, me either. I know a lot. Some people have gotten on those.
There's too much shit talking.
Arguments and stuff.
I don't like that stuff.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm all peace and love.
That's what I like to, put something cool out there.
Yeah.
Or
like say something nice.
Put something out there that you're not going to regret also.
Yeah.
Like don't air your dirty laundry on the internet, like put something cool out there, you know. But I've seen, we've all seen that where people are like,
people love to air their dirty laundry.
Like I'm not really feeling too good about, and they're just like reaching out for attention or something. Which, hey, if you need, by all means, like reach out if you need help.
Absolutely.
But a lot of them aren't reaching out for help. They're just, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like you said, just like attention.
Yeah.
But like, what kind of attention are you looking for, and is that really gonna like make you feel better at the end of the day? Yeah. So.
Yeah, a lot of it is just like a lack of like a real problem. I'm not trying to like say that people don't have problems. We all have problems, But I think that like we're just like really cushy nowadays.
We are.
And then so
a little too
because we're so cushy. We have to create turbulence, our own turbulence, and then and then you're like, bro, like if like there's like some analogy or something about that, I'm sure there's a lot of them, but like
no, I agree. Like
I think it was like a primitive society having to retrieve water for their people, and
we turn a knob.
He's like, why do you think the interviewer? Oh, it's another one of those. It's a YouTube. It might be a podcast too, but it's called Impact Theory.
Impact Theory. It sounds familiar.
He interviews a lot of really cool dudes. I think this one's Sadhguru.
Yeah.
He's like one of the East India gurus,
Oh, okay, cool.
Real like wise man type stuff, modern day wise man type stuff. But he's got all these really cool ways of explaining things really simply, Oh
my God, that sounds like right up my alley.
But the guy the interviewer asks him, he's like, why do you think in this day and age, like when it's all basically like really, life is really good, that there's so many people are such like a mental, like a mess.
Yeah.
And he said something like, if you had to go down to the river to retrieve a bucket of water for your family, and your family needed whatever 50 buckets of water, like he's like, you wouldn't have time to make a mess of yourself. Well, basically, like
so
you're not
much
busy
wisdom
enough.
in that, though.
You're not doing anything. You're not doing like what's needed. What's needed is all taken care of, and now you're just like busy, just like making an excuse for why
trying
you
to make as much
why you
money
have
as
a bad
possible.
day. When in reality, it's like you turn a knob and you had water, and there was food today, and there's food tomorrow.
Yeah.
And like we don't have any real problems.
Instant gratification culture.
There's definitely some big problems, but you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Compared to like people a long time ago, where you're like they're just doing everything they can just to like have food and water.
You work to survive.
Yeah.
Like literally. If you're not going out there finding your food, you ain't eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just imagine that.
Yeah.
That's gnarly.
They didn't even have iced coffee. You couldn't even go to the store and buy some iced coffee.
No. What kind of world are we living in?
This is a trippy world we're living in.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. So you've just been here. What do you do for work? I was thinking about that. I don't even know what you do for work.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't think you'd ever guess.
I probably can't. Yeah.
I teach art at the high school.
No way.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So I worked with Mrs. Wales for a few years.
I love Miss
Right
Wales.
next door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Copelands.
And the Copelands, yeah.
Copelands are good family friends of mine and my family.
Nice.
Yeah. My parents are always hanging out with them.
Mm-hmm.
I say always. When they can.
When they
Because my
can.
parents are up in Albuquerque. Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
But that's cool. So you do art.
Yep, that's
Art
what I do.
teacher.
Yeah.
Like,
crazy,
how long
huh?
have you been doing that?
I think it's been 5 years.
You like it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took a while to, I mean, I always liked it, but it took a while to like, is this really what I'm doing? Like you have this whole existential, because you're like, me, am I supposed to be the example or the leader? Like you're supposed to be like a figure, like a
Yeah.
role model,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's
Is
hard.
that what I am
It's
right
hard
now?
to cross that threshold of like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, but all you do is you just, I just carry I just try to be positive, and you have to be professional in the sense that like you uphold like a standard of like how to act, like a leader does by example, So you have to
Yeah.
you just have to treat everybody good and keep everything cool, but
Yeah.
but like it's worked out.
That's
And,
cool.
It took me a while to like get into that, like, dang, I guess this is what I'm doing, and then you have no resources in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like you start out and you're like, like what do I teach? Like where do I start? How, like because I teach art 1.
Okay.
So it's like drawing and basics, and then you just like work your way up. But after a few years, I've put together like lesson plans and like slideshows and video links and just demos, and then I have a bunch of projects that I've made with the students over the years.
Yeah.
And I keep my own folder of all the stuff I've made and all this, and then I can use those for demos.
That's
and then
so
some
cool.
kids like leave their stuff, like either they just never come back for it or just gets left behind, and then I'll keep their examples, and then like eventually like you have a whole bunch of stuff to be like, now I'm not starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So then you don't feel all like kind of like winging it, because if you're teaching, the last thing you want to do is like be like winging it, where you're like you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, every now and then that's okay. That's cool too, to have like an exploration thing where like everyone can see like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing either. That's fun.
Yeah.
But like you gotta have, especially for kids, you gotta have them
Some structure.
on something.
Yeah.
That's like idle hands is not good.
No.
In that situation,
No.
gotta have something on the table
Yeah.
for everybody to do.
Art class was like so important for my like mental health in school and growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me
Hey,
too.
that's so cool. Yeah, I would have never guessed that.
That's crazy.
But now that you say it, I'm kind of not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did art, all throughout school and stuff, and then got out of school and never really knew what the hell I was gonna do, and then I went to college on the hill, nickel and dimed some classes, and eventually got an associate of arts.
Okay.
Not fine arts, but just general arts.
Just general arts, yeah.
And then still had no idea what I was gonna do. And then I was making music with some friends,
Yeah.
and then that's what I wanted to do. I'm like, oh, we're gonna do music, and but then like those guys like kind of went their own ways, and then I was like, damn, like my boys left, like, but I was still hyped on music. So then I went to Las Cruces to try to maybe do music school, not to go to school, but just to meet people, network, find some people to start a band with, or just something, and that didn't really work. I did meet one really cool dude, and he helped me out with a lot of the music theory stuff that we were learning.
Yeah.
Because I took some basic like music 101 type stuff. Because before that, I never had any traditional like music theory, or like I didn't know about scales and chords or how all that worked. I could play guitar kind of,
Yeah,
But,
self-taught.
yeah, just writing my own riffs
Yeah.
and like songs and stuff, but I never knew what I was doing really.
Yeah.
So I took some basic music stuff and met a really cool older friend of mine, and he helped me connect kind of like the guitar to the stuff we were learning at school. A couple of those classes, so that really helped me out. But I didn't really meet anybody over there.
Yeah.
It was basically like band, orchestra, choir.
Yeah.
It wasn't like rock band school, you know. So it was like
Dang, rock band school would've
sight
been
singing
dope.
and like
Yeah.
stuff, ear training and stuff.
Yeah.
Like really way out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I was
but
already.
that's probably, I don't know. I think like that's the best way to like find new things, learn new things that you would never otherwise explore.
It certainly was. Yeah.
Or even think that you can combine.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That makes me think of like when I first heard like Flume, the group Flume.
Mm-hmm.
There was like, I think it was Centra. And at first the song sounded like, okay, what's wrong with this song? But they were literally playing with like throwing beats off beat.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's one of the coolest songs. And I'm like, wow, I've never heard anybody actually successfully make a dope song like offbeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
It's crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, so I kind of like I was gonna maybe be a music major, but the way that their program was designed just didn't. I had way too much going on here, and then trying to commute, and they design it where you have to take classes consecutively, like Monday through Friday. Otherwise, it'll take you like 8 years to get a degree.
Yeah.
Because they'll offer like 1 and 4, or 1 and 3 in the fall, 2 and 4 in the spring. As far as the classes, like Music Theory 1. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Basically, you have to go year round, and you have to hit those classes in order.
That's a lot.
Plus, on top of that, they ditched, like, they don't have a guitar program anymore. Oh. So you have to have an instrument to correspond with your study. So you'll have, like, general music theory and ear training and all that, but you also have, like, ensemble work or whatever, like, within your specific discipline.
Yeah.
And I guess you could go for music education, like, if you're going to get into teaching or performance or whatever. But they had no guitar program anymore. And I'm like...
What a bummer.
Well, I'm like... Well, this ain't gonna work, and it probably wouldn't even if they did have a guitar program, it was still too much.
Yeah.
For somebody like me.
I was gonna say it sounds like a lot.
Because I was already like we had just
and you're commuting.
Gotten this place. I had so much work to do here to get it like livable.
Yeah.
And then I was like still working almost like full time, between 30 and 40 hours, just like at my job.
Yeah. What was that job?
At the pizza place. At the
the pizza
mill.
place. Yeah.
I worked there forever.
Yeah.
And
I tried to order a soda at the window one time.
You can't order at the window. Yeah.
And I was like, come on, I'll pay double for it.
Oh, you got to come inside. You're like, oh, shit. But it was just too much. And then I was like, well, either quit school or find a different degree. And then there's this one called Individual Studies. Mm-hmm. So then I did that, which is just like almost like that Associate of Arts.
Yeah.
But a Bachelor's of Arts.
Yeah.
Just general. So I ended up taking a whole bunch of what they call Viewing the Wider World courses. For certain degrees, they want you to take a class that's outside of your college.
Okay.
You know, so mine was like arts and sciences or something. I forget. But
yeah.
Basically, they have these 300 level and above V courses, Viewing the Wider World. And I just took a whole bunch of those. But it was really cool.
Yeah.
It was like animal science, like astronomy, geology.
Oh, so that sounds fun.
All the fun stuff, everything that I thought was fun, like sociology stuff about like what sexuality or death and dying, and just like crazy ass classes. Beer brewing is a chemical engineering. It was dope.
Yeah.
Your project for the semester is like you had to make a beer by the end, and then it was
and there's so many ways to like mess up the bacteria and have to start over, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. One of my roommates was trying to brew beer in our kitchen for like 6 months. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But then he ended up like figuring it out, and now he has his own like brewery in Albuquerque.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It all started in our kitchen.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So I took a smorgasbord of all kinds of shit, and then I got a bachelor's degree of basically nothing, like a general individual studies. But I wasn't
a general bachelor's degree.
It's like I wasn't an expert in anything, you know.
Honestly, I'm a little bit envious of it. I never experienced like university or getting to like take a variety of classes. I just went straight to that trade school.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was it. Yeah.
I really had a good time. It wasn't not like the movies or something. It's not like I lived in a dorm and partied and like.
Yeah.
It was just me.
Yeah.
Commuting, and also Joey D was also going to school.
Oh, okay.
And then like it got to be the point where I was catching up to him because he was like a little bit older than me, and had some credits. And
he was a year older than me.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then like I started catching up to him credit wise, and then he was like, "Oh hell no!" And then so we were both like getting it, going to school.
That's cool.
So we ended up finishing at the same time.
Oh, nice.
We ended up graduating that same day together, which was cool.
Oh, that's so
different
cool.
majors and different stuff.
But
we
still.
never had a class together, but on the days it would line up, we'd commute together and then like go get a beer or something, and
is he still around?
He moved to Austin.
Oh, Austin, the poppin' place.
Yeah, I still keep up with him though, chat with him and text and stuff, but miss that dude. We were hanging out for a couple of years, making music together and
cool.
just partying and going to college
I was like Joey.
Yeah.
and his older brother too.
Yeah, I never really met his brothers too much until
I got to know him because he dated my older sister for a while. So he was at my house a lot, and then like we'd always go hang out at their house and yeah. Dang, blast from the past, people.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a bachelor's degree, and then I was just working jobs, just whatever jobs. And I thought about subbing.
Okay.
That's how I got into teaching. Is I subbed a few times because I was like, hey, you can work or not work.
Yeah.
Like if you want to take a job this week, you can, or you don't have to.
Yeah, that's convenient.
But I thought subbing was super weird at first because I was like, what the hell am I doing here? I can't do this.
Yeah.
Like having been a teacher now I could go back and sub. I'd be fine because I've already I don't care. I'm over it. I've already
got your feet wet a little bit.
I've spent a lot of time at schools working, and so now it's like, it's I don't have that weird like what am I doing here thing anymore. But for a little while I did, but then I was like maybe I could do it if I got my own class or something. Yeah. So I actually got hired under science.
Okay.
Because I was tired of working. I was like I'm not making any money doing what I'm doing. And I'm like, if I'm gonna work, I might as well get like a career. Something with I can make some more money and get somewhere with it. So I don't know if I'll do it forever, but I started working at earth science. So that was my first actual year.
Oh wow!
And that was crazy too. Again, I had no resources, had no idea what I was doing, but I'd ask the kids, "Am I doing all right?" And they're like, "Dude, we learn more in this class than any other class."
That's awesome.
Or they'd be like, "I learn only in this class." And I was like, well, damn, I hope that's not true, but it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I hope you're learning in other places too. But, and then I almost quit because I was like, I don't think I could do this. I had that whole existential thing. And then they offered they opened another art position. And that's when I was like, that's what I need to do.
And then you just transferred,
that's
right?
What I wanted
you already
to
worked
do.
for them, so you transferred classes?
Yeah, I had to finish out the year, and then I think I applied for it, but then I got the art endorsement. You can move laterally to any subject after you're licensed.
Oh, okay.
All you have to do is pass like the test within that.
Within that course.
Within that. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it was like a whole fiasco with the alternative license because I didn't go to school to be a teacher.
Yeah.
I just had so they call it alternative teaching license.
Oh, okay.
And then I had like 4 different entities wanting stuff from me. Like the state, like NMPED, then the university, then Alamogordo Public Schools, and then the high school. They all needed stuff that I didn't have. And I'm like, it was like the chicken or the egg thing.
Yeah.
And then so that, I almost gave up with that too. Because it was just, by the time, I basically was just like, whatever, it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
And then like all of a sudden it worked out. When you almost give up.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck it,
The universe was like, nah.
Yeah.
This is where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. So then I moved over, and then I started working with Galen and this other art teacher lady, Jana. She's super cool.
Cool.
And then Galen retired, and now we have this other guy, Eric, who's super cool. But it's really cool to have cool people to work with. Like, they're so cool.
That's so cool.
And we're just back there, and that old art building's gone. They got rid of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Some of my best work was made there.
Yeah. They still have the ceiling tiles. They moved those inside.
Nice.
But
I'm glad they kept those.
But yeah, like we're just kind of in our own world all the time.
Yeah.
It's super cool. It's actually art and sped.
Okay.
So it's like, and the kitchens are like the next hallway over.
Those were like the two hallways I spent the most time in.
Yeah. So it's super cool.
Yeah.
Like all the sped kids are always like really, really cool and really like upbeat, and everyone's like really positive, you know. And then all the kids love art, so
Yeah, I
it's
did like website building class in the sped hall, and then I even did like special ed reading in 11th grade in the sped hall.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was fun to learn how to build websites. I wish I could remember all that HTML that I learned,
That's crazy.
which I don't know, maybe that's like old school stuff now.
It might be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've made a website through Squarespace
Yeah.
for Orange Curb, you know. That's
GoDaddy,
it.
Squarespace.
It's a template. You just pay monthly for whatever plan you want, and
Yeah, I have a
Upload some
website
photos.
called jeraray.com, and it's completely empty. I have done nothing with it. I've owned it for 10 years.
just like the domain.
Just the domain.
Hey, at least
I
you
was
got
like,
it.
I got to buy it and keep it now. I should do something with it.
An art page, because you
Yeah.
still do art. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, I do art. Not as much as I want to. I really want to.
So you were doing small scale paintings,
Yeah.
and back in the day, you used to do sculptures and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Have you seen that spider bug that's over here?
No.
So right across the street from my house, right over there,
Yeah.
there's a Volkswagen bug.
Oh, with the spider on top.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I have seen it. It's been around for a while, right?
Yeah, it's right there, right across
Oh,
the street.
okay. I
Maybe
didn't even
when
notice it, yeah.
when you take off later, I'll point it out to you real quick,
Oh,
so
that's
you can
cool.
cruise past it.
Yeah.
But people drive past it all the time and take photos of it.
Yeah.
Like who knows? It might be one of those things where, like, you know, see America.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be on there one day, like McGinn's giant pistachio, and also while you're there, go see the
See the
spider
bug.
But it reminded me of you though, because I think didn't you make a big metal
I made
spider?
a huge metal spider.
I remember
yes.
that.
Yeah. So when you go up to Cloudcroft to Off the Beaten Path, make sure to go in the back part in their backyard space. That's where my big spider is.
It's still up there.
Yeah, they bought it and
Oh,
it's theirs.
sick.
They own it now.
That's
Yeah.
badass. Because you made that in high school.
I did. Yeah.
I think I remember you walking around with it, and I was like, "Damn, look at her with that big old spider."
Yeah.
It was cool.
in crafts class.
That's
For
awesome.
Miss Wales.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, and then I always like to do like the big art projects like outside of the class. So like I couldn't sit in class there for a while with Copeland, and I was like, I'm gonna go paint my car. And he goes, all right, cool. Just don't leave the parking lot. And I
Yeah.
went, I sanded down the side of my car, and I just spent like the whole week painting my car.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish it was still like that. It's way more locked down now,
Yeah.
but it's just the
I'm
nature
not
of the beast.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not surprised with
Yeah.
just
The world.
the world right now and
Because back
schools
then
and
it was
stuff.
like, hey, I'm gonna go get some coffees, and they'd be like, yeah, like as long as you bring me one, that's fine. You know, it was open
Yeah.
campus, and you could they could send a couple kids for like donuts and coffee or some shit.
Yeah.
You know, I remember doing that.
I
in
used
art
to
class.
I used to sign in to class for PE or it was like aerobics or something, and then like for the next 15 minutes I'd disappear and I'd go get burritos from Daylight Donuts.
Yeah.
And then I'd pop back into class. No one even knew I was gone.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, open campus
And
was cool.
I didn't think that was bad. I left and I came right back.
Yeah.
I didn't like leave and ditch for the rest of the day.
The donut place was like right there. Too,
Right there.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different times.
Totally different times.
Yeah, we had a good era. I'm glad that we had that kind of.
We did. I had fun in high school. High school was fun. Growing up here was fun too.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. Definitely thought it was a good place to grow up.
Where did we meet? It must have been Chaparral,
I think so. Yeah. Well, what year did you graduate?
skateboarding and shit. 09.
09. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was middle school.
It must have been skateboarding too.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, girl with a skateboard. And then, like, you were probably hanging out with mutual friends of mine, maybe.
Yeah.
Or people that I knew. And then, I don't
Well, so Dustin Mesa was my boyfriend all through middle school.
know. Okay.
Yeah. And so that's how I ended up at the skate park all the time.
Yeah.
So that's probably exactly
Right
when
there.
we met. Yeah.
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 Cool. Good old Washington Park.
Yeah. It looks so different now.
It's so weird.
Yeah. Hey, it's kind of cool though.
In some ways.
Yeah. I mean, it's very different,
Yeah.
but yeah, I haven't like really even gone and checked picked out the park.
The friends and I, like, we're all like those old guys. We're like, man, it was perfect the way it was, you know, because it was like street, plaza, natural.
Yeah.
And then now it's like a lot of the natural architecture has been deleted and then like replaced with like cookie cutter.
The Gap's gone, right? Because they totally tore that thing down.
The amphitheater's gone.
Yeah.
So it's like iconic, you know. It's like tearing down the pyramids and putting up a Walmart, you know. And
yeah.
you're like, the Walmart serves.
That sounds painful when you say it that
the
way.
Walmart serves more of a purpose.
Yeah.
Arguably, because the pyramids, you just stand there and look at them, and they're just like this thing that's preserved.
Yeah.
And then, but the Walmart is like you can get, you know. You can get like some new tires and like groceries and like some whatever.
Yeah.
Everything at Walmart.
Everything.
And I feel like that's how the skate park thing is. It's like, oh, it's all there. It's all provided for you now.
Yeah.
But back then it's like, it didn't look like a skate spot to an average person. It was just whatever. It was like, you know, because that's what we like as far as skaters is like go down to those downtown cities. In every downtown district where all the buildings are, the financial district, there's always fountains and ledges and benches and gaps, and like that's the stuff that you're like that's it.
Yeah.
And Washington has like its own little version of that. There's like curbs and ledges and gaps, and it was all natural.
Yeah.
Open, no fences, no, you know, it wasn't made for skating, but now
you get creative when that's all you have.
Yeah, and you could see it, and it was like, oh, this is dope. We'd go out of town to like other skate parks and then come back and then be like, why do we like this place so much, you know? When we always like, I wish we had a skate park, you know? I remember saying that. And then now there is a skate park there, and it's like, oh, like we don't even hardly skate that stuff. We still just skate the planner and the little curves and shit.
You created your skate park before they even created that skate park, right?
Yeah, kind of. A little bit before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
I do like that they have a futsal court there now.
Is that internal chain link?
It is pretty dang cool. Yeah.
So what is it?
It's a futsal court. So I mean it's like a indoor soccer type court, but futsal they're still out of bounds. There's no walls, and you usually play with a smaller diameter ball that has like a half-pound weight to it.
Okay.
And then with that smaller half-pound weight ball, when you kick the ball, it doesn't like go flying up over the fence, so you don't like lose the ball.
Nice.
Yeah. And so that's really what futsal is. But that's different than like indoor, and then there's outdoor. There's like varieties of soccer.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because you were all about the soccer for like forever.
I still am.
It's like me with skating.
Yeah,
you're like, it's soccer for life, you know?
Yeah.
Like you can't undo it. You can't unsee it.
Obsessed. Yeah.
So when did that start? Just like when you were young? Like
yeah, I mean I started when I was really young. And then of course I like played up until we finally like could put together like a select soccer team here in Alamogordo. We got enough girls who were talented enough, and we were the only girls select soccer team. So there was us, and then there was a boys select soccer team. And then we would like travel, and then that's when I started to get real serious into soccer. Then that transferred into making the high school team in 8th grade, and then like graduating, playing soccer all through high school until I graduated. After that, I like stopped playing soccer for a long time.
After high school?
Yeah. I partied way too much.
Yeah.
Like way too much.
Because you would think, okay, you're about to graduate high school. You didn't have like, it's not like you were like, I'm going to go to college and be an athlete kind of thing. You were
I wanted
hair
to.
and makeup, and then like you kind of had a fork in the road.
So I really wanted to play college ball soccer. But I ran into a bunch of like injuries and surgeries and stuff that like held me back in high school, so I didn't get the scholarship that I had like really put my heart on. And that was to go to school in Durango and play for the Durango college, Fort Lewis.
Sick.
I used to go to summer camp there for their soccer summer camp.
Durango's nice.
Yeah, I loved it.
I've only been there once, but it's really cool.
And the women's coach, Damien, he was from Alamogordo.
Cool.
So like I was like, yeah, I
Perfect fit.
I got to connect there, like hometown people. That's where I want to go. And they had mentioned to me, they're like, it was like my sophomore year. they're like, hey, if you keep playing the way that you're playing, like, we're gonna be looking at you to play for us. So I was like, yes.
Yep. You had the seed.
Yeah, but then I tore my shoulder, separated my shoulder in a soccer game.
Eesh.
And then I was out for a while, like half the season. And that really kind of set me back. Like, they didn't get to see me play. And then, like, when I got back to playing, I wasn't quite the same player. And then, what was it? Portales. They were the only school that offered me a scholarship for soccer. And, well, my boyfriend in high school, he spent some time living in Clovis, and so I used to drive through Portales to Clovis.
Yeah.
And it just stunk really bad, and I just had this whole, like, terrible negative mindset about, like, I'm not gonna go live in stinky, flat Portales. Yeah. Like, no way, you won't catch me dead there.
That sparks this funny memory. This girl was coming by the park. This was a long time ago, but we'd never seen her before, never seen her since. But she was coming around and she was like smoking menthol cigarettes, and then she was like talking to us, and she's like, yeah, like, I'm from Clovis. It's like right outside of, she's like, I'm from Portales, like right outside of Clovis. And as soon as you said those two cities, like, I just go right back to this menthol smoking girl. Like, she's like, yeah, like, just going on about Portales. It's right outside of Clovis.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I've never heard.
Which it's actually a really great school.
On the news, like Weather Channel, like, around Clovis, but I'd never been there.
No, it's actually a really great school. Like, a ton of people that I graduated with ended up going to school there. Like, including, like, my best friend at the time, Yuli Stack.
Is there like a university or a?
Yeah, it's a university.
Portales, something or other.
Yeah, I can't remember.
There's some good schools.
Eastern. It's called Eastern.
Eastern, yeah. Eastern, New Mexico. Cool. Yeah, I've heard good things about that. ENMU or some shit.
Yeah. So, they were the only place that offered me a soccer scholarship, and I think I was just, like, so bummed that I didn't get the scholarship I wanted, that I was just kind of like, you know what, screw this, I'm not gonna go.
Yeah.
And then that's when I was like, all right, I'll go do hair and makeup. I also wasn't sure I was gonna make it in university.
Right. You said you were partying and stuff.
Well, I was partying. I mean, I partied a lot through high school too. But yeah, I just, like, I didn't have the right mindset. Like, the type of studying that university would, like, expect of me was really challenging for me. I'm, like, a hands-on learner.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, a trade school, like, really attracted me.
For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, and then that's when I decided to apply for that school in Canada. Sick. And I actually had to, like, go up and interview, and then they, like, accepted me. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. But so during, like, after that, I don't know, it was years of just, like, instead of playing competitive soccer, I was competitively drinking and partying.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's the only way I can really explain it, like, looking back at some of the lifestyle that I lived.
After Canada or, like, during?
Oh, it started in Canada. Well, no, it started in high school. Yeah. And then progressed to Canada, which it was easy because drinking age was 19. I moved there right before my 19th birthday.
There you go.
Yeah. Boom.
Is it still 19?
In British Columbia, it's 19, but the rest of the provinces are 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're an adult, you're an adult. Mm-hmm. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, our drinking age confuses me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you not an adult? Or, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, you can go die for our country, but you can't have a beer.
You can go get a throat tattoo.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, you could, like, tattoo your eyeballs black and shit. But, but no, you can't.
But you can't have a beer?
Yeah.
Well, that's weird. Yeah. Plus, I really think that, like the time frame that I see, like, young people doing the most of their drinking is, like, 16 to, like, 24. Yep. So, like, why are we making it illegal, and, like, kids end up, like, ruining their lives and getting in, like, serious trouble when we could have just let them drink at the time that they were going to really experiment, do it safely, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that whole thing with the weed too. Like I've noticed it with the young people too. They're like weed's not even a big deal anymore.
No.
Like kids at school, they vape and they get busted with vapes and get kicked out of school temporarily or whatever. But no one smokes anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they still smoke weed, but no one smokes cigarettes hardly at all.
Yeah,
which is cool.
That's really cool.
It's good, you know, because they're bad for you. But
absolutely.
So none of the kids smoke cigarettes. If like you know, if I ever hear, they're like, if I ever hear them talk about it, they're like, no, those cigarettes are nasty or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like, but it's not like, remember like weed. It'd be like, oh, that dude's cool, or like, you know, talk about weed or whatever, like it was some thing. Now it's kind of like it's just normal, where people are like, it's like going around. It's so normalized that it's like not even a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like when I leave my house, I'll go 10th, White Sands, First Street, and within that, I was telling Jared Shaw. I was talking to him about this on the last episode, but I pass 7 weed shops on the way to work.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I know, they just popped up everywhere.
I'm not even exaggerating. Yes, 7. It might have been 8 because there's another one that just opened up, and there's actually another one that's about to open up.
Oh, really?
Right there. I technically don't pass it. It's caddy corner, but it's still on my route. So on the way to work.
Yeah.
I mean, a 5-minute drive.
Yeah.
I'm passing 8 weed stores. But
that's how much weed was already in this town. People were selling.
Yeah. And you're like, at least you don't have to meet some sketchy fool in a dark parking lot now.
I'm definitely
like, yo, I'll call my cousin. Like, he'll be out there. He's in a red car. Like, he'll be there.
Yeah.
And you're just like, who's this guy? Like, what?
Yeah.
Now you can just go into the store and get it. You know?
See, what's funny is like drinking. I started way too young, and I wasn't really into weed. And then I didn't really get into weed until I started, like having some serious like health issues and insomnia.
Yep.
Well, come to find out, my insomnia was detoxing from alcohol because I was drinking like way too much. Yeah. Yep. And it was weed that ended up like saving my ass because the doctors were just like, oh, let's put you on trazodone and Xanax and all these other things that were just making me worse.
Sure.
Making me more of an alcoholic and an addict and things like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Not good. Not
but
good.
weed was not the same for me. Like, I could actually use it medicinally. So, what was it? Like, a year after it became medically legal in our state, I got my medical card.
Cool. Yeah.
So, it's like 8+ years I've had my medical card now.
Nice.
Yeah. And, like, the drinking age thing with, like, the weed age thing, like, all the studies I've done, like, you know, drinking is really not all that great for you, no matter what.
No matter what.
But, like, weed is also not really good for young developing brains.
No.
So like logically in my mind, I'm like, yeah, let them experiment with alcohol when they're already going to experiment with it. But then like, don't let them smoke weed until their brains are more developed.
Yeah.
And that would be a better age. Yeah. It's interesting for sure.
Yeah. There just needs to be better education about things. Mm-hmm. That way it's not so like, I mean, because alcohol will fuck you up. Dude. Like, people don't know how bad it is, and how addictive it is, and what a fucking, like, it's bad, you know, if you don't have any control. Yeah. And plus, everyone's different. So, one guy could drink a whole bunch and be functional and fine, and the next guy is, like, totally, like, just
ruins their whole life. Yeah.
And you're like, it's just booze, man. And you're like, well, I mean, it's mind-altering, crazy stuff, man. And everyone takes it differently, but.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, something personal about me is, like, I hit that spot. Like, I had to get clean and sober when I was, like, 23. Mm-hmm. Went to AA, NA, all of it. Yeah. Was clean and sober for, like, it was, like, just before my 4-year mark. And then I relapsed again because I started dating this guy who was drinking and using.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm good. I can handle it again. Mm-hmm. And, like, 6 months later... Nope. I was right back in that dark hole. And I'm like waking up and I'm like, how the hell did I get here again?
Yep.
I thought I knew better. Mm-hmm. And it's just like my brain doesn't function that way. Yeah. So then.
So what would the process? I've never really had a problem with it. Like sometimes I know the only problem I have with it is the activity of like the opportunity cost. Like if I'm going to go hang out with a friend and drink, sometimes I'll be hanging out with that friend and drinking, and I'm like knowing in the back of my mind, like, damn, I should probably be doing something else. So, but it was never the booze itself that really. It's just like almost like I'm wasting time drinking.
Yeah.
Just sitting around wasting time, probably talking shit about somebody and just people or whatever, you know. There's like that quote, like, great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we're over here just discussing people, just talking shit about people and just drinking. And it just feels like a waste sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes it's good.
Yeah.
To like party and have fun and whatever.
Oh yeah, you gotta let loose. You gotta, you got to.
It's never been real destructive for me, other than that, like, I just kind of think like there's better ways to spend the time, you know. Like, yeah. And I'm always struggling with that. Like, what do I do? Do I go here or do I go there? You know. Yeah. It's like I always struggle with like how to manage time and what to choose to do and what not to. But yeah. But
like for me, like everything revolved around partying, drinking, like. We make plans. It's, like, okay, Thursday nights, it's like cheap drinking at the bar. So we always go out Thursday nights. Oh, yeah. And Friday nights, there's always this concert, like, we got to go to. And we always got to get super, like, messed up for that concert. Like, otherwise, it's just not the same.
You got a pregame and a couple of beers in your pocket or a bottle in the purse, or just never stops. And the days just bleed together.
But, I mean, I found for myself it was mostly, like, coping mechanism, choosing not to deal with things that like I needed to deal, or even like self-reflect, or just like in another form like sickness of selfishness. Yeah, it's just like all about me, kind of a mindset, and that's really what kept me drinking for a long time. Yeah. Well, and then I mean drugs and stuff, but.
Yeah, they all go together.
It all goes together, yeah. And then I got into, like, the rave scene. And so.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Albuquerque?
Yeah, Albuquerque. But, like, we would travel. Me and my boyfriend at the time, we would, like, travel. We'd go down to, like, raves and see electro shows in, like, El Paso, Las Vegas. We went to Las Vegas EDC 2013. That was nuts.
Just huge festivals of electronic music and people.
Oh my gosh, like 200 different like EDM artists over like 3 days.
Yep.
Non-stop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Up all night, up all day, up all night.
I don't recommend it.
No. No.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean like that was pretty much what I was doing, and then which this kind of circles back to the soccer. So it was about a year after I got clean and sober, and I was really overweight, really unhealthy, like trying to get my life back together. I had figured out how to live the sober life, but now I had to figure out how to live the healthy life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
you have to recreate everything.
Yeah. I mean, I was just under 200 pounds, if you could imagine.
I can't imagine that. Dang, yeah.
No, it was crazy. I was a totally different Jera. And so I started working out, getting up early. I was trying to find motivation to, like, stay working out because I did not want to work out. I did not want to, like, do cardio. Like on that cardio machine. I remember like I would like have to do like my mantras, my AA mantras and prayers like while I'm like on that cardio machine for just 45 minutes just to stay there.
Yep.
And be like, no, you need this, like this is good for you. And it kept me there, like for sure. But then I was like, what the heck am I doing? I could be chasing after a ball playing soccer, and I love playing soccer.
Yep.
And that's like cardio like crazy.
Yeah.
Let's go do it. So I went to, it's called International Indoor Soccer Arena in Albuquerque.
Cool.
I went and signed up, joined like one of the low level teams there, and then just started playing soccer again. And oh my gosh, it changed my world all over again. Like,
nice.
Yeah, it's just like
sometimes the answer's right there.
It's my soul, it's my love. Like, yeah, soccer's my thing. So, but it was cool because then I like really got to dive deep into it, and like within a year, I had like started from not playing soccer since I was like 17, 18 to like at 24, like becoming like 5 times better than I ever was at 17 and 18.
Sick.
Because I had a totally different, like, humbled mindset on, like...
You were coming at it as a health and just a self thing.
Yeah, well, and it was a good way for me to take that competitive side that I have, that I was using as like, oh, let me find the biggest guy in the bar and say, I bet I could drink you under this bar right now, and be competitive that way, which is not healthy.
No.
To then like playing competitive soccer as an adult, even though it's like recreational adult soccer, they had like super advanced competitive teams. Mm-hmm. And then I met my friend Justin, and I actually started like having him coach me. And next thing I knew, like a couple years later, I'm playing men's advanced with like being the only girl on the team. And like half the guys like used to, not half of them, a couple of them used to play MLS soccer.
Nice.
A bunch of them like were going to college, playing like college level men's, and I'm like up there like scoring goals with these guys, and I'm like, this is sick. This is awesome. This is what I love to do. Like, this is where I should be.
Cool.
Yeah. And so
damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So that was like leading up to like the pandemic. Albuquerque created a women's semi-pro indoor soccer team called New Mexico Lightning, and I tried out for that team and made it, and it was gonna be awesome, and then the pandemic shut everything down. Yeah, so like I felt like I was close to that, like that chance to like travel nationally and play against other like highly skilled competitive women soccer players, obviously within the indoor realm.
Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of where my skill set was like the best, was the smaller field, like.
So it is different.
It is
different dynamic, like.
Yeah, I would say it's fast paced like basketball.
Okay.
Yeah, whereas like outdoor soccer, it's slower paced.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot more running, because when you add the walls in.
Yeah.
The ball hits the wall and it's just like ping, 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 like everywhere. The goals are tiny. Like,
so it's just quick.
It's just quick.
It seems like it'd be a lot of fun, huh?
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah. Like
high intensity.
Yeah.
Games are only like 45 minutes. Yeah. Cool. Whereas like outdoor game, 1/2 is 45 minutes. Yeah.
Soccer was the only formal sport I ever played, but it was just for one season. But I lived next door. We lived out in Alamorosa. I was a little kid, like 8, 9 years old. And so the neighbor was pretty far away because it was kind of like rural type. Not that far. It probably seemed further because I was little.
Yeah.
But then, but we had nothing to do out there. But the neighbor kid was like, I'm going to play soccer. His parents were like, yeah, like we can take him too and he can play with our boy. And, like we'd take him. We're going to practice anyway. It was like, so they helped me kind of get on the team. And
that's cool.
Teamed up with this kid and we played together. And then.
Did you have fun?
I did have some fun, yeah. But I remember kind of like sometimes the coaches were just like, I don't know. Like I think I played a defender.
Yeah.
Like in the back kind of.
Yeah.
And then like one time, like I just kind of like went up there and like made some stuff happen,
Yeah.
And like I did good.
Heck yeah.
But then they were kind of like, well, you need to be back there or whatever.
Yeah, you got to play your position.
That was kind of a turn off, And I was just like, but I did good though. And they're like, no, like you need to go back there. Like it wasn't quite that.
Yeah.
They weren't barking at me, but I was just kind of like. I was a little salty,
Yeah,
but it's funny though, because like there's some foreshadowing, because I had the soccer ball and there was like a card, and it was probably like 1998, 1999.
Yeah.
And they made like a little card. I wish I gotta find one. I think my mom might have one somewhere.
On my Instagram, I have one of those little cards that says 2000, and I'm in like my soccer uniform, leaning on my ball.
Yeah.
My hair's super short because I still like kept really short hair, dressing super tomboy.
Yep.
Back then, yeah.
It's
on my
funny,
Instagram, it's on there.
I'll have to check that out. That's fucking hilarious.
You got to scroll for a little while.
Way back.
Down. Yeah.
It's funny though, because my card, it was at Washington Park, so like it was that soccer field between like the orange curb and the parking lot where everyone skate, and True Value.
Yeah.
Like across that field.
Yeah.
That's where we'd play. But my picture was there, and then in the background there's like the tree and like some figures.
Oh.
Like sitting on skateboards underneath, and you're like, that's some foreshadowing for my life.
Foreshadowing, yeah.
I'm like, that's where I ended up.
You're
but I'm like, I gotta find that fucking picture.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I hope there's one in there somewhere in this
Yeah.
box of stuff that I have, man. Damn.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff's funny.
That's pretty
where
cool.
you end up.
Yeah.
But that's cool, the indoor soccer.
Oh, yeah. It's so much fun.
To look into that.
Yeah. And then, like, that leads up to, like, the futsal, which is similar size court and, like, similar number of players on the field as, like, indoor. The only thing is you don't have the walls. And you have a different size ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's heavier?
Yeah, it's got, like, a half-pound
Does
weight
that
to it.
affect the... Does that hurt when you kick it, or... I don't know.
No, it feels different. You actually end up having more foot control on it because the ball, like, if you roll it, if you roll it with your foot, it doesn't roll quite as fast away. So you can kind of keep it close to you easier. Yeah. But when kicking it, yeah, like, you kick it hard, and if it was a regular soccer ball, it would, like, maybe go a lot higher or a lot farther, and it kind of just, like, and then it dies out.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's how you keep it from going over the fence.
Sick.
Yeah.
I wondered why that they had put that in there, because I didn't get it at first. I'm like, dude, there's enough chain links and dirt and just stuff, like,
Well,
And then when they put that up, I was like, what are they doing? I'm like, there's soccer fields everywhere. But no, it's cool that, like,
it's definitely a different feel. It's a different, like, pace. It's different. So, like, they started building that, and when I first moved back here, I was, like, desperately looking to play soccer all the time because that's all I did in Albuquerque. I was playing, like, on 14 teams, like, all week long. I had games every night, all weekend.
You got healthy again.
Yeah.
Through soccer.
Super healthy. Yeah.
And then, like, you're all about it. And then you joined this team, but then the pandemic shit happened. And then
the pandemic stuff happened.
They stopped playing during that time?
Well, they didn't stop playing. I ended up having to stop playing because I moved down here.
Okay. And it was
I lost my cosmetology business. I was, like, managing a salon, and I had my own business, and I was running my business out of that salon that I was helping to manage. And they were pretty hardcore shutting the salons down.
Non-essential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't really stay 6 feet from somebody who you got to be working on their head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I got sent. I sent myself down here because me and my husband, we were just, like, kind of started dating around that time, and we were doing long distance back and forth for, like, I think it was like 6 months at that point.
He was here and you were there?
Yeah, he was here. He had just moved back here from cruises.
Okay.
And we were like, so do we lock down apart or do we lock down together?
Yeah.
And I was like, together, duh. Like, it's only going to be 3 weeks, they said. Yeah, it's good. We'll do 3 weeks. And he was like, I think it's going to be longer than 3 weeks. He was like, but this might be good because we had already been talking about, like possible marriage and, like, really, like, committing to each other. And he was like, I've never lived with somebody I've dated. Like, I've stayed at their house a lot, but it's, like, not been my place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, cool. Like, this will be a good way to try living with somebody. Like, I've lived with people before, but, like, this might be a good experience to see if we work well together.
Yeah.
And we killed it. We did so good. Like,
nice. Just worked. Like,
yeah, just
like it wasn't. You didn't even have to try.
Yeah.
It just happened perfectly.
It just happened, and, like, we were comfortable in each other's space. Plus, you put the pressure of the pandemic where you're, like, really isolated together. And we didn't really drive each other crazy. We were like, all right, I think we could do this.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was cool. But during that time, I was like, man, I got to play soccer. Where do I find soccer in this town that does not offer adult league soccer?
Wow, yeah.
There's no soccer here except for small kids or high school. So then I got on Facebook and I was, like, messaging all these different, like, soccer community groups that I found that were nearby. And one of them was just, like, Alamogordo Soccer Pickup. And it was mostly the high school boys soccer team. Okay. And so they would go out and they would practice and play in the hockey rink. Yeah. And that was kind of like an indoor setup. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was going and playing with them, and then they started building that futsal court. And so then we kind of, like, transferred over to the futsal court. But then all at that same time, all that, like, massive like messaging I sent to all the like soccer places, because I messaged places in Cruces, El Paso. I'm like, I'll drive.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't really like, you know, they just see this message and they're like, you know, they look at my Facebook page and they're like La Liga type teams. So it's like mostly Hispanic based like soccer culture. So I don't really
fit the mold,
or so they thought.
Right.
Yeah. And so it took like months of me just kind of like poking at him like, hey, like, seriously, like, even if I just sub for one game, like, can I just come play? Like, if any team is desperate, like, here's my number. You can even call me. I was kind of annoying, probably.
That's cool. You got to throw your name in the hat.
Yeah. And then finally, the owner of the, is like Premier Foot 7 over there. He like messages me and he was like, hey, you still want to play? And I was like, yeah, like my bag's ready. When do you need me? I can be there in an hour and 15. I just Googled it.
Nice.
And he was like, well, we have this team that like, they're not very good. They don't have any players and they're pretty desperate. I was like, all right, cool. And I like showed up and, I just played. I just played the way that I played. Like, even though like they were not very nice to me, like intentionally would not speak English to me.
Wow.
Yeah. They were
down in El Paso.
Yeah, they weren't sure about me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I was the only white girl out there.
They just had to give you the runaround at first.
Yeah, totally gave me the runaround. But then like once I got on that field, then like
they started being like
the coach of the team that I played on, I was like, hey, I need a sub. He goes, no, you're staying out there.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. Like that season, I ended up finishing that season with him, and we were last place, like not good.
Dead last.
Terrible. Last place, like getting our asses handed to us every time. The following season, we ended up second place. Almost won the championship. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. And I think it was once they like opened up to me, and then they like noticed that they like that specific team could actually like learn from me. I kind of almost was like, I was the one that was the communicator on the field, because that's kind of what they were lacking. They all just like weren't really talking, and it's a talking sport. It's a team sport. We got to talk to each other, tell each other where we're at. So me, I'm just like trying to force them to actually finally talk to me. So I'm like over talking to them. Yeah. And then like some of the girls start to like me, and I'm like, okay, like if I want to call for the ball in the center, like how would you better hear me on the field? Like, because we're not like speaking the same soccer language. And so they started teaching me like, you know, like if I say medio, like they know that I'm in the middle and they're going to pass it to me in the middle.
Cool.
And like the communication exploded, and then we just started winning, and it was like so cool. So I played out there for a while. That was really fun.
This was just in the last 3 years or so?
Yeah, that was 2020 and into 2021.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's cool to still be doing that when you're, well, we're in our 30s now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's badass.
Yeah. I really like to get back to it. I actually ended up getting really injured by a futsal ball.
Oof.
Yeah. August last year, I was playing in Conotillo, Texas for a women's league there. And the team we were playing like insisted they wanted to use the futsal ball. I went to go shoot the ball really hard. The defender just like, you know, also was swinging to kick and block at the same time. And my own shot basically ricocheted right back into my face. And my right eyeball like ruptured. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
Damn.
Yeah. So
I was not expecting that.
No. I wasn't expecting it either. It like my septum ring completely ripped out of my nose. Like I went completely blind in that eye for like 6 to 8 hours. Yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So then of course, like, I mean, a normal soccer ball, when like an average player kicks it the hardest that they can, it goes about 60 miles an hour, 50 to 60 miles an hour. So that ball, we'd say
flying
50 miles an hour with like a half-pound weight to it.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting like a pretty serious concussion. And then like I've been kind of like, I'm still recovering from that concussion.
This is coming up on a year ago.
Yeah, it's kind of, well, it was in August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's June now, so.
Dang, yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still fucking with you a little bit, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Like
well,
you get the symptoms, long lasting.
Severe pain, like severe pain, like in my head and ear, because I ended up getting an inner ear injury. And then I started to go to these doctors up in Ruidoso, because like I tried going to like my rheumatologist and like other doctors, and she just thought it was my lupus, so she was like, oh well, maybe we should put you on this more medication, it's probably just a really bad flare-up. Well, that wasn't making it any better, and I was like sitting at a level 10 all the time. It was like really bad, and then it like starts messing with
level 10 like pain threshold.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, pretty gnarly. And then like some of the symptoms was that like it had these like crazy pain spikes, and then I would get so nauseous that I'm like vomiting.
Oh.
Well, so I'm like, okay, like this can't just be my lupus. Maybe I just like gotta take myself out of this little box I'm shoving myself into and like kind of explore other things. So I went to go see these guys, Alpha Omega Chiropractic. They're chiropractors and naturopath doctor.
Cool.
Yeah, dude, they're so cool. It's amazing. Like it's almost like miracle work what it feels like that they did on me, because like the whole month of December they were just like running these tests on me, like muscle testing, like having me do these like eye movement, like cognitive tests, and then like within like a month they figured out that it was an inner ear injury. But then I started like bringing up, I'm like, well, these symptoms, they only like went to the max since this last injury, this concussion I had, but previous to that I would have these crazy pain flare-ups that were identical.
Oof.
So come to find out, I've been suffering from like inner ear injury. That one was just like the cherry on top to like send me over the edge. But basically like the pain and the recovery and everything that I'm going through right now is, I mean, I don't know if this is an actual word, but I keep calling it like compounding concussions. Because like looking back, I've had a lot of really bad concussions.
Mostly all soccer.
No. Alcohol.
Falling and stuff?
Being drunk, hitting my head, falling, doing stupid stuff. Like some of my worst concussions was during that period of time. But I just like brushed it off, like whatever. I mean, like I
have a headache, but what do you expect? I was drinking all night and then just drink some more and
exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Years go by.
Yeah, and what was also interesting is like I had every other symptom except I did not have vertigo, and I was not like tripping and falling. But like they like take these pictures of your body. I was literally like leaning forward and to the left in this photo that they took, and I thought I was standing straight up perfectly. Yeah. But basically I was leaning over and to the left, and they were like, you've probably been doing this for years because your brain didn't know where your body was in space. Ooh. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
Dude,
like
mind blown.
Your calibrations are all off.
Totally off. Yeah. And so they started me on this thing called vestibular therapy. And literally that's what you do is you do these like eye head movements to recalibrate your eyes, brain, and muscles all to like communicate together.
Wow.
It's been a journey for sure.
These people, where are they at?
Ruidoso, Alpha Omega Chiropractic.
Cool.
Yeah. Dude, I highly recommend them. They're just like amazing.
Right on. It's good when you find like legit.
Well, if I think about it sometimes.
When you get to the source, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And they got there fast. Mm-hmm. All through like more like natural, just like listening to the body. They do have like tools where they like scan stuff, but not quite the same as like Western medicine.
Like here, just take some of these for the pain.
Yeah,
and just,
or like, oh, this is signs that it might be your brain. Here's a referral to a neurologist. You get the referral to the neurologist, and then it's like 6 months till you can get in to see the neurologist. If I feel pretty confident I would still be suffering right now from that injury, like to the extreme, because I'd still probably be seeing neurologists and getting scans and like just now probably figuring out that it was concussion related.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, multiple concussion related.
Compounding concussions?
Yeah, that's what I call it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I look back, like my worst concussion, oh man, I can't even believe I didn't even think about going to see the doctor. I actually was comatose for over 24 hours. I slept through a whole entire weekend and thought I woke up and it was just the next day. But it was like 2 days later.
Oh.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I still never went and got saw.
Oh, yeah. No.
I was like, oh, no, it was just a crazy night partying. Yeah, I fell and hit my head, and there was like a huge hematoma, but no big deal.
Tough it out. You'd be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy shit. Yeah.
Yeah. There's this interesting podcast. It's a Joe Rogan episode, but this dude, Brigham Bueller.
Okay.
Ways to Well is
Okay.
his thing. And it's
Ways to Well.
Ways to Well. And it's a cash-based. He talks about the insurance companies and the medical companies and big pharma and all the stuff. And just the some of the stuff you were talking about, how you have to chase it around and then you're waiting for months and then like, man, that's one that I would recommend.
Oh yeah, I'll totally listen to it.
I'll send you the link. It's kind of, in some ways it's dark, but it's just real.
Oh yeah.
But he just breaks it down because he was a drug rep.
Oh, okay.
And then like throughout his experience being a drug rep and dealing with all that, eventually he found his other calling to kind of like start his own Ways to Well.
Yeah.
But
that's cool. Yeah, that's like right up my alley.
It's cool stuff. I'll have to send you that one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like I'll definitely share all the podcasts that I'm like pumped in like to listen to all the time. I'll share them with you as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad you found them up there at Alpha Omega Chiropractic.
Yeah, it was actually a handful of people here because like working at the gym and like noticing that like, oh my gosh, like physically like I was like elite athlete and then all of a sudden like I can't do it. Like what's wrong? Like why am I in so much pain? Like they kept like multiple people at the gym were like, oh, maybe you should go see these guys, Alpha Omega Chiropractic. Like they're really good. You probably just need an adjustment. Something must be off in your neck or
So you were already working CrossFit at this.
Yeah. I was at Elite Fit. Yeah. I've been there for like 2+ years now.
Sick.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know we've been going a while, but I'm like, we got to talk a little bit about CrossFit.
Yeah, for sure.
I won't keep you too much longer.
Oh no, this has been fun.
But yeah, I'm super stoked that you came by.
We'll just do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Round 2. You know what I want to do too? Is everybody, I always say like, I'll have somebody on and I'm like, we need to get together, and do something. And then just time goes by and then you haven't. So definitely I want to have like people on again.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But also like maybe get out get out there and do something cool. Because you guys are going on a adventure tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we like to go hiking Sundays. Yeah. Sometimes Saturdays, but like Sunday mornings, especially when it like gets warmer during the cold months. I'm kind of like, I don't do well in the cold.
Especially in the mountains.
Yeah.
It's even colder.
Oh, yeah.
Or sometimes even out in the desert and the wind's ripping through there in the morning. It's like,
it can get super cold. And I'm highly sensitive to the cold, so we kind of avoid it. So this is like, we're hitting peak like
hiking time
where we go up early and
explore.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of scouting. Trevor got some hunts. I think one of them sheep. I think that's what he said, and that's what we're going to like. We're going to see if we can like see some sheep, scout a little bit, and then we'll go like hike around in our spots that we kind of like preset. He likes to look at maps. Yeah. And then he'll pick out the areas that we're going to go to, and we'll go straight to those spots.
I have a friend who he's taken me backpacking a few times.
Yeah.
I was mostly going with him like I'll go on the hikes, but he would put on all the work on the back end as far as like the research and like where we're going or how we're gonna get there and all that. And I'd pretty much just go with him, you know.
That's what I do.
But he would check out the maps and the trails and like, oh, here's how we're gonna get in. We'll come down that ridge or whatever. But he was always chasing around ghost towns.
Ooh,
he's putting together
cool.
a ghost town book.
Yeah.
So he's documented a lot of.
There's tons of ghost towns in New Mexico, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, they get fewer and further between over the years because you know they're just old and they fall apart or people come and take stuff or whatever happens to them, fires.
Yeah.
But that's really interesting. So
yeah.
But I can relate a little bit. That's cool that he's like using Google Maps and. What do they call it? Topographic mapping kind of stuff?
Something like that. Yeah, he actually uses this one called Onyx. It's like a hunting brand map.
Sick.
Yeah. Hunting brand? No, it's like a hunting...
A hunter's tool.
Yeah, hunter's tool.
Like a navigation hunter's interface.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's what he does.
Nice.
Yeah, he kind of maps it all out. I need to do more stuff like
that.
He picks on me. He's like, Jera, if something happened to me, you wouldn't even know how to get back to the truck, would you? I'm like, yeah, so don't have something happen to you.
Right.
I'll be stuck out here too. Yeah, we'll just Romeo and Juliet this shit. We'll die together out here in the forest.
You'd figure it out, though. You'd be like, yeah, you just have to know your way in. But you can, tricky stuff can happen.
Oh, like, you can get turned around. There was one time we were just like, we didn't even, like we had our map, so like it was okay. But we just like started hiking and we thought we were going in one direction and we actually weren't. And we were like 30 minutes in one direction and he was like, oh shit, we like went way out of the way, like we gotta like backtrack now.
I know, even like, and that's if you're out somewhere. But you can even get lost like right when you're close somewhere. Like my buddy from Cruces that I met in music school, he was kind of into mountains and hiking and stuff, and he's like, man, he wanted to come check out Alamo because I'd tell him about Alamo a lot because he was in Cruces and I brought him back here. And I was like, yeah, there's this little trail, easy to hike. So we went to OSHA Trail, super easy.
Yeah.
But we went off on this other road because at some point there's this other little road that meets up with OSHA Trail and then it just goes off. And we were just walking way too far down this other road for a while. And then the sun was going down. And I'm like, dude, wait a minute, where are we? And
no.
I'm like, did I get my friend lost? Like on the OSHA Trail? Are you kidding me? And then like eventually like we found our way back, but I was like, damn, dude, I almost got lost like right here in my own backyard on the simplest trail.
Yeah.
And then recently my friend and I hiked the tabletop plateau right there.
Oh yeah, that's right up by my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've hiked up there. That's a fun hike.
And it's gnarly.
Yeah, it is.
It's not for the faint-hearted, like, you know, and you got to be careful.
It's like a good 5.5 miles round trip up and down.
But
straight up.
Just the terrain, the rocks, cactus. It's just kind of like, it does not lend itself to an easy walk.
No, it
like
doesn't.
You kind of
yeah. I mean, that's the one that goes up by that big mansion, right? At the first beginning part of it. And then it twists around and then across.
I mean, I went up the, I guess the north end before a long time ago.
Yeah.
But this last time we went on the south.
Okay.
Out down Scenic Extension.
Yeah.
Kind of
at
out
the
by
top of First Street.
Yeah, top of First and out a little further.
Okay, but out. Side. Okay, yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
There's a clear way up there, and it honestly, it was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
For that hike.
Yeah.
By that hike standard, it was pretty smooth. But on the way down, my friend was like, maybe we could go down this way. And I'm like, dude, we need to go down the same way we came up. Because I'm like, all of those canyons come out to a drop.
A drop, yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, maybe if we just go down. I'm like, all right, like, let's check it out. So like, I was like, I'm down. Let's check it out. Yeah. Get down to the one canyon, just drops. You're like, okay, we got to backtrack a little ways and go back up. Down the he's like, well, maybe this one. I swear, three or four times. I'm like, bro, I told you we just need to go back down the way we came. And then
there's no third time's a charm here. It's just
next time I go, I want to take not that I want to deface nature or anything, but I want to just take like can of spray paint or something, just something real bright and fluorescent, and just hit a little rock mark every now and then.
Oh yeah.
Just so like okay, it's not this canyon, it's the next one.
Yeah.
Because you do get turned around up there.
And when people like walk those trails a lot, I know it. Like I always end up accidentally going off on what I thought was the trail, and then when I backtrack, I'm like, oh no, that was the trail. Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah. That hike's
sure.
really cool. The view is so sick.
Oh,
Totally
yeah.
worth it. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
So we live at the top of First Street, and then there's that like walking path.
Like Desert Foothills Park or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And so we'll go up that way, and then like we'll hike up, and then there's that big mansion,
Uh-huh.
and then like the trail goes up by the mansion, and then you cut back over, and then you can climb up onto the tabletop. That's the
Cool.
way we go.
Nice. I
Yeah.
need to go that way again.
Yeah, that way's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like more straight up, zigzaggy,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say it's like medium level.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Probably more of a trail than the way we went. We were off grid going the other way.
Yeah.
There's a trail. There's a trail where it starts, but eventually you kind of just
Yeah,
come up the back side
Yeah.
of that thing.
that's the Rebels Trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gnarly.
I just made that up. I don't
Rebels
really. I tried to find that trail because from the end of Scenic Extension over by Ocotillo, you can see it go up. The beginning of that trail. I
Yep.
couldn't ever figure out how to get to it. But
My friend, he has like a big off-road truck kind of thing, and he just drove right up in. There's
Oh,
some little
sweet.
Jeep trails.
yeah, okay,
So
yeah.
you could drive up. I mean, you could walk too. It
Yeah.
would just add to your walk, but you could just walk from the curb.
Yeah.
You could just park your Toyota at the curb and just walk
Yeah.
over there. It'd be a little longer, but he was like, I want to take my truck out there, and
Yeah.
parked it right up as close as you could get to the. All right, we can't go any further
Like,
with the
why
truck.
not?
Yeah,
Why not?
and this is after being up all night.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, fuck it, let's do it. Let's do it. And I'm like, I don't know, man. And he's like, come on. And then, like, every now and then, I think it's good to interrupt the sleep cycle. Like,
Yeah.
every now and then, just to be like,
Absolutely.
fuck it. Like, we stayed up all night. Like, let's just go.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Like, if I don't do it now, when are we ever going to do it? you know?
Exactly. You just gotta
So-
live a little.
We just pulled an all-nighter, and then first thing at sunrise, hiked tabletop.
That's crazy. I'd be a
Stayed up there
zombie.
till, like, noon, got back down.
Yeah.
But it was totally cool.
This is basically like me staying up all night right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually go to bed 7:30.
Dang, that early.
Yeah.
But you're up
wake up
early.
at 4. Yeah.
You're up early, so.
Yeah, I coach the 5 and 6 a.m. classes at Elite Fit.
Good. I'm glad we got back. Good segue.
Yes.
We're back to CrossFit.
Yeah.
So you got into CrossFit because you were always like athletic, kind of in a way.
Yeah,
working out,
definitely.
hitting-
Always
hitting gyms,
athletic.
strength training.
Yeah. Besides that short period of time where I was not doing anything physical activity. But yeah, I know. Yeah, I love working out. I love being athletic. I always wanted to like coach and be a fitness coach. And coming down here, losing my business, like, which was basically my career. I thought I was going to do hair forever. But it kind of like that didn't
Hair
work
today,
out.
gone tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I saw like a comic strip one time. It was like a pun, like
Yeah.
like here today, gone tomorrow, but it was hair
today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so I'm here, I'm door dashing. I'm like, I gotta find a gym that I wanna like work out in and that like kind of like fits who I am and like what I want out of a gym. And so I like checked out all the places. Of course, Planet Fitness, Anytime Fitness, those basic type,
Yeah.
everybody type gyms.
Straight up pumpkin spice.
Yeah. Went over to Showtime. I don't know if the guy was having a bad day, but I just like, I was inquiring about the gym. And like they didn't really give me any information.
They're kind of just almost like you're wasting their time.
Yeah.
Or like it's a burden that they have to talk to
Yeah.
you. They're like, oh God.
Yeah. So I didn't even get to see the inside of that gym or
You're
check it out. And like, I actually know a bunch of people who love it over there.
Yeah, me too.
And I didn't even get a chance to check it out for whatever reason it was that day.
Yeah. And this was a little while ago.
Yeah. This was in 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a lot newer then. Now they've been going for a while.
Oh, was it newer then?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It
Yeah.
hasn't been there that long.
Yeah. I mean, moving back here, like everything was like new. I didn't know
It was
how
probably
long
pretty
stuff
fresh
had been
right about
here.
that. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it still seems new to me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how that's the new Sonic.
Yeah.
Even though it's like old. They're like, do you
So
work at the new one?
Yeah.
Like I have high school kids. I talk to them like, they're like, oh, I work at Sonic. I'm like, oh, which one? The new one?
And they're like, "Whoa,
I'm like,
what?"
oh, wait, no, I mean the one by the mall. They're like, yeah, I work the one by the mall. I'm like, to me, that's still the new one. It's like 20 years
Yeah.
old at least. I
Oh,
don't know.
that's funny.
But anyway.
Yeah, so I kind of checked out all the places, and then Elite was like the last place that I went, and messaged them and was like, hey, like, I'm looking for a gym, like, can I come check out the space? Boom, right away. Paul texts me back. He goes, yeah, when do you want to come by? Like, we can chat. And I came by, and like, just his like presence, like the way he talked about the gym, like what they did, the way the gym looked, like it was good vibes. It felt right. And like, I was like, yep, let's do it. I'm in.
For sure.
And like, I already had previous experience in training, so he felt comfortable just like putting me right into group classes. Because normally we like to go through, like anybody new who comes to the gym, we give them movement assessments to find out like what their body's capable of doing. And then the foundation, so we teach them all the movements, so that way when they jump into class, they're not scared off or overwhelmed. Or even for like the coach now has all these notes like, okay, this new person, you know, they have exercise induced asthma, they can't squat to a certain depth, like they can't hang from a bar. If they shoulder, you know, if they're doing any overhead pressing, it can't be this way. We need to modify with like maybe a landmine press, stuff like that. So then we can like work with them.
Differentiate.
Yeah.
It's like being a teacher.
Yeah.
Like that's how I see it. Like you got to differentiate the lesson for different people.
And it sets everybody up for success and to like enjoy it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but so that was cool. Like he just like put me right into group classes, and I worked out there for like, I think it was like,
you are a teacher, just a fitness coach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I wasn't at the time. I was a door dasher.
That's right. Yeah.
It was a terrible job. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's like people that have made like some big waves doing DoorDash, but yeah, on the average, Alamo's probably not the best platform.
Only when people got their government checks for the shutdowns, the stimulus checks, everybody was tipping like they were rich, and that's the only time I really made.
You were like, cool, hey, this could be a
money,
thing.
but then like it was really hard on my car, on my body. Like you had to like sit there for hours. I'd sit in my car for 6 to 8 hours just to make like a couple $100. Yeah, oof. It was brutal. Yeah. But so I'm like working out there, and one of the coaches, Starlin, she's like, Jera, what are you doing with your life? Like, what do you do for a living? I was like, oh, I DoorDash. I'm kind of a housewife right now. Because
you were just going to the gym, just training, just yourself, just working out,
just to stay healthy, like keep a good like mental state. Like
now,
I was trying to.
Elite, do you do just CrossFit? Like, were you going there to do CrossFit, or are you just doing weightlifting, or just what? Like,
no, I just wanted group classes.
Oh, so you were like, taking the classes and doing the thing.
And actually, technically, we're not a CrossFit gym. We do CrossFit type stuff, but we do a lot of accessory work too. So it still is definitely different than if you were to go to a CrossFit gym. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's all a lot of the same CrossFit, like
principles.
Yeah. Fundamental movements and stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's great.
I'll have to come check it out sometime.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
I wasn't super into that kind of stuff. I mean, the same thing. I like moving around and being, I'm way more into it now than I was, but Amy got me into it, just going to the gym. And you know, I mean, I did like weights in high school, but all the cool kids, all your friends were in weights and stuff. So you wanted to do weights too. Yeah. But I never took it that seriously. Mm-hmm. And I should have. Cause like, if you really think about it, you're like, you get 5 days a week accountability. Mm-hmm. You have to be there.
Yeah.
You basically have a coach, like a personal trainer, like an instructor, and like a whole program, and like and a facility. Yeah.
And a community. Your friends are there. Yeah. Like,
they're like, you know, adults pay big money. There's a huge industry. You know, that people, and you get this every day for free. Yeah. 5 days a week.
It's
and
really
you could do it for a couple of years. You could really make a big difference.
Yeah.
In your physique or health or whatever, you know, your goals. But I was just like, it's just a class. You know?
Yeah. Well, so that was the one thing that like really attracted me to what Paul offers there is the group classes. So you're in a group, everybody's doing basically the same workout, of course, everybody has a little bit of a modification based on where their skill set is.
For sure.
Yeah. Or their mobility or flexibility. But yeah, it was community. And like I had just moved back here. I was finding it so hard to make friends. Like,
you of all people, I'm like, come
dude,
on. But
no,
I know what you mean.
Hard. Like trying to make friends when you're 30 is hard.
like when you came over earlier, I'm like, we need to hang out.
Yeah,
like,
we do.
Just Amy and you and I talking, and like I'm like, and your husband too. I'm like, you guys are cool.
Yeah,
super cool.
No, I love that because like that was the other thing is like I reached out to a couple people that I knew still lived here, but like our worlds were just so different and so far apart for so long. Like linking back up never happened.
Right.
Yeah. So then I started to try to find new friends. So going to that gym was like, man, I like literally have an immediate group of friends and a community. Like, yeah, they might only be my gym friends right now, but like I can show up here every day and have an hour hangout with my friends while we do some fun stuff. Yep. Yeah. And so,
and it aligns with your core values.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
health and fitness and just like all that, because sometimes maybe your old friends, they're always your friends and you can pick up right where you left off, but some of those core values change over the years, and it's like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
Where it's like, it's hard to say like certain people aren't good for you, because it's not quite that, but I mean sometimes it is that cut and dry.
Yeah.
But also just sometimes it's just, you're just on a different.
Yeah.
We used to be on a harmonizing kind of thing, but now we're just kind of different. So it's okay to change your friend groups here and there. And
I totally agree. And I learned that lesson for sure around like when I quit drinking. It's almost like I really found out like who my core friends were, the people who supported me no matter what, and the people who were my drinking buddies.
Right.
And for a long time, I thought my drinking buddies were my best friends. And then when I wasn't down to drink with them anymore, it fizzled out real fast. That friendship fizzled out real fast. And so that's when you find out who the real friends are. Yeah. Or the people who are like...
They're in your foxhole.
Yeah.
There's a cool concept that Goggins, in his book, David Goggins, he talks about the foxhole, but he's like, they're not always... They don't always tell you what you want to hear, but they tell you what you need to hear. Kind of. And you're like, they're the ones that are like there for you, really there for you.
Exactly. Those are the people you want to keep around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that are like, I know who you are. I know like what you're struggling with, or like what you need to be doing, because this is what you've told me. You've told me that you want to do these things, but you're not doing those, And they're like, wait a minute, didn't you say? Maybe they won't be all aggressive, but they might at least be a reminder of like, you were telling me this the other day, and you're like, yeah, you're right. Fuck, you're right.
How dare you use my words against me?
They hold you accountable,
Hold you accountable, exactly.
Which is good. That's what you need with a real camaraderie of real people who are in your foxhole.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I was looking for my foxhole friends.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely found it there. So Starlin, she's like, what you doing with your life? Like, why are you door dashing? Like, I can already tell you need to be doing better things than this.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I kind of always wanted to like do fitness coaching. And she was like, that's exactly what I was about to tell you. Why aren't you coaching? Like, you already like help people out in the gym when you're working out next to them. Like, you know a lot already. Like, you'd be great at this.
Perfect.
And I was like, really?
You think so?
Really? You think so?
All humble. She's like, yeah, for real though.
Yeah, she was like, she's like my mentor for sure. Yeah.
And then it benefits them too, because they have more people, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And
like if the demand is there, like they have people coming to the gym, they need more trainers, right? Like,
yeah. Well, and like for a while there, Paul was coaching every single class. So he was coaching 5 a.m. all the way till the last class, which was 6 p.m. And people wouldn't get out until 7:30. And he's getting off of work at the same time he needs to be going to bed. Like, it amazes me. I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
Did he start that whole thing from the ground up?
That's a good question. I think he did with two or one or other person. Yeah, and I don't really know those guys or like how it all started, but it's his place now. I believe he bought them all out. Yeah.
Cool.
And so it's his spot. There's Paul, there's Starlin, me, and then Natalie. Yeah, those are the coaches we have there.
Cool. It seems like a really cool thing.
It's pretty cool.
I always like that, because to me it's like there's parallels with skating or something, like I identify with that because it's just like it's just a bunch of people in some like a warehouse somewhere like we're doing in here. And we're just jumping around, flying around on shit and just grinding stuff and flipping around and everyone's all like sick full, like we're all pumped on each other and like the gym kind of has that same thing,
Yeah, that's exactly what
you're
our
like,
gym
get
has.
it, you got this.
We're always cheering each other on. Like a lot of our workouts will have like weightlifting where it's like, okay, 2 minutes you do this movement, this many reps, and then you got like 5 different stations for each have 2 minutes. And then at the end we'll do like another Metcon where it's like a time frame one where you have to do like see how many reps of something you can get in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then there's that competitive aspect. And then like everybody's cheering each other on.
Damn, 8 minutes.
Like, come on, you can do that. Snatch faster. Like, come on. Or we're like under, like you have to get your best time on something rather than how many reps. It then switches to like another day where it's like, okay, you got to do 3 rounds for like an end finish time. How fast can you do it?
Wow.
And then everybody's like racing to like do it as fast as possible.
I really like that because there's a format and there's like a trajectory, and like a thing that you're doing. Because a lot of times it's like I'll just work out on my own. It's so open-ended that like I don't get that much done sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
But I find when I have like even skating, sometimes I get lazy and I'm like, I haven't skated in a while and I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? I'm like, you need to skate. And like, but I'm like, you just feel lazy. It's not that you don't want to skate, but it's like, it's not like a chore. I never think about it like a chore, but I'm like, I need to do it, but I'll just set like a small mental goal. Like I'm going to do 10 flat ground tricks 10 times.
Yeah.
So I'll be like 10 kickflips, 10 switch kickflips, 10 nollie kickflips, 10 fakie kickflips.
Yeah.
And then like, that's 4 tricks.
Yeah.
So then I'll have to do 6 more tricks 10 times.
Yeah.
And then like it just gives me a little something.
You structure it.
But then like I did this little bike challenge. Well, it was actually a run challenge. It was 4x4 by 48.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before, but Goggins, again, he has this challenge. It was for like awareness for like PTSD or military stuff or whatever. Yeah. But he was like, you run 4 miles
every 4 hours
for 48 hours. But I did the bike.
Yeah. Lex talks about this on his podcast.
Yeah. I was like, instead of running 4 miles,
bike.
I was all, I'm going to bike, but I'm going to do 10 miles.
Cool.
So, but I did it over that weekend, whatever it was in March, a couple months ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it was all weekend. But you're like, damn, like 3 hours goes by and you're like, fuck, I got to like get ready for my next ride.
Yeah.
And then like the first couple rides, you're like, whatever. But then after like 5, after about 4, you're questioning, like, dude, am I really going to do, because it's 12 rounds.
Yeah.
Like on the 4th one, you're like, damn, like, am I really going to do 7 or 8 more of these?
Yeah, you are.
And then like after 5 and then 6 and then then you're like, well, I'm halfway. And
yeah,
then
exactly. Yeah.
But
why quit now?
The CrossFit thing, I think that's cool.
Very similar.
Like 8 minutes. How many reps can you get in 8 minutes?
Yeah, but we do shorter periods. We don't make you like do 48 hours.
No, that's
no, just kidding.
That's crazy stuff.
Yeah,
that's like a whole other.
Yeah, so like the 8-minute one, like how many single arm alternating dumbbell snatches can you do in 8 minutes? Yeah.
That's cool. I'm gonna have to come over there.
I think my record is 135 with a 35-pound dumbbell.
Wow.
Yeah, that was when I was like at my fittest. Right now, it's probably 135 with a 10-pound dumbbell. Massive difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Concussion recovery.
Hey, you gotta.
It's so trippy.
Work your way back up.
Yep. Yeah.
It could be like those other times too, where you get even further the next time around.
I find I always get further when I have to start back over. Yeah. Yeah. And I've had to start over plenty of times throughout my life with fitness stuff and soccer, and you get injured and you got to recover and then
come back at it with a new approach.
You got to come back at it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about so like do you have to have a membership? Someone like me, or can you just sign up for like one class, try it out, or
You can sign up, you can do a drop in for one class to try it out, as long as you have to talk to Paul or one of the other coaches to make sure that you're safe to just drop into a class. Like you have to have a basic understanding of what we do.
yeah.
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 But otherwise, yeah, it's a membership, monthly membership. You,
Oh, monthly, that's cool.
yeah, so you pay a monthly fee. We offer 5-6 a.m. class. Then we offer a 9 a.m., a noon, a 4, 5, and 6 p.m. class. So then you have to come at one of those time frames. But we also offer personal training. So you can do personal training one-on-one with a coach. And then typically that's when the times can be set based on what works for you and your coach. And it
Cool.
doesn't have to be within that group class period.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. And then we also offer nutrition, which I'm working on being very close to finishing my nutrition certification so that I can be another nutrition coach over there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So then you help people figure out their meals and
Well, basically we do like a habit-based holistic approach. And it's all about it's not a restrictive type thing.
mm-hmm.
It's about adding in healthier things slowly. Like to be successful, if you focus on one habit at a time,
For sure.
you're like 90% successful to make it a habit and actually do it. Most people make the mistake of like, oh, I want a life change.
Cold turkey.
Let's start working out, even though I've never worked out before. Let's start meal prepping. Let's start macro counting. Let's do like those are all extremes, and it always only lasts for like a couple of weeks, and then they burn out. It's too much. It's too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that's not the best way to do it. So the cool thing is with the nutrition is we do the small habit-based approach. So like 2 to 4 weeks, we work on building 1 to 2 new habits. Often they're as simple as just making sure you're drinking enough water and getting enough protein.
Yep.
Yeah. Most people aren't drinking enough water.
Nope.
It's amazing how many people don't drink enough water. They think they're drinking enough water. But then when they say, well, how much water should I be drinking? I'm like, well, average half your body weight in ounces. They're like, what? 60 ounces of water a day? I'm like, yeah, that's like the bare minimum you should be drinking. If you're also active, you work outside.
Yeah.
Like you eat a lot of fast food and sodium filled
Just all
stuff, you should be drinking even more than that.
Just all the cellular fucking shit. There's all the stuff going on in your body. It's like,
yeah,
just the stuff, man. There's this channel, this dude, Dr. Berg. I'll have to send you this guy.
yeah,
He's all about keto and stuff and anti-cancer and all this shit. Like I said, I've been researching all that stuff. And my brother too. But this guy, like the way he explains things, he's not advertising anything. He does have some supplements and stuff, but he doesn't advertise it at all.
Yeah.
It's all just knowledge, food knowledge stuff. But man, it's good info, you know. But the biological processes, and you're just something as simple as like water, you know, or
it's life source.
It's crazy.
Like we're looking for like living organisms in space right now. Well, if you find water, you're gonna find a living organism.
There you go.
So if you like aren't putting it into your body, and like that's what we're mostly made of, you're killing yourself basically. A slow, miserable death. Yeah.
Yeah. Drink your water, fool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like one of my clients, he's been a challenge to work with, but it's been great working with him. He's like made some massive strides for him. They've been massive strides because he didn't even want to work out. It was just kind of like his job had hired me to help keep him healthier, and he was like, nope, I'm good. I gave up on working out. Like I hurt my knee. I'm an old man. Like it's a waste of my time to work out. And I'm like, okay, you're looking at this all the wrong way. Like if you want to live a better, healthier life, longevity. Yeah. One of the things he told me is like, yeah, I told my kids if I could go and work out and like take the time and spend the time at the gym, but that's taken away from my time from you hanging out with my kids. And my kids kept saying, no, Dad, like you not going and working out will end up taking you away from us. And he just like wasn't getting it. He just thought they were being mean to him. And then like finally, like, so I got him to where he would work out. And then I was like, so like, how much water do you drink? He goes, oh, like 8 ounces right before bed. I'm like, that's it? Wait.
You're like, I mean, that's good that you have a habit of like right before bed. That's cool.
Yeah.
But
he goes, oh no, I take a little, like
else?
I take a drink with my pills in the morning too. And I'm like just a sip? He goes, yeah, just a sip, like just enough to get my pills down. And I'm like, wow. Okay. I was like, we don't even need to worry about working out right now.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to get 50 ounces of water. And he goes, that's impossible. And I was like, no, it's not.
Increments, bro. You can do it.
It's not impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we've been working on him drinking water for like the last like 4 weeks. Finally, at the end of the 4 weeks, he was able to, and in my fitness app that I have him like check off like what he's doing.
Yep.
He was finally able to check off, I drank 50 ounces of water today.
Nice.
And I was like, yes, like this is a huge win.
It's working.
Isn't that amazing to think that like a huge success for somebody is just drinking 50 ounces of water in a day?
Success is
Dude, you got to celebrate all the little stuff.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so nutrition, that's what I've been focusing on lately, and
Yeah.
it's been good. It's interesting. It's definitely like I've always like, well, not always, but since I like got sober and wanted to start losing weight and getting healthy again, like nutrition is everything. And
It's
then
everything.
It's the base, and then everything comes on top of it.
Yeah. Yep. It's just like
Yeah.
it's your foundation. Yep.
Foundation, yeah.
You've got nothing if it's all crumbled and fucking withered and
Yep.
all crumbles down. Yeah, if your health isn't on point, everything else, all your goals, all your whatever you want your life to be,
Yeah.
all comes crumbling down
Yeah.
when you're not meeting your base needs. Eventually it catches up with you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're resilient and you could go a long time abusing yourself, but it will
catch up to
it
you.
will catch up to you. And if
Yeah.
you want the longevity, you gotta start thinking about that stuff.
Yeah. That was like one thing that I did with those doctors was I did their nutrition exam stuff because I was like, I'm here doing everything else. We might as well see like
The Alpha Omega guys?
yeah, up in Rio. So yeah, like how's my nutrition? Am I like malnutritioned in areas?
They did blood work and all that stuff too, or
Blood work,
just full panels, all this.
yeah, ultrasound of like my arteries and my thyroid. We did like neurological tests like on my brain.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, listen to my heart. And so I'm like, cool. So like, why you guys like test my brain and my heart? Like I thought nutrition was like food and like supplements, and like they were like, well, yeah, we've got to figure out where you're malnutrition. And if your heart's not working correctly and your brain's not working correctly, like those are the two places that your body automatically focuses and sends all the nutrition on. And if they're malnutritioned, that means that you're malnutritioned because your body's going to immediately focus on them first. So all the nutrients goes to those two things because you can't live without those two things. And if they're not functioning right, then we know there's a lot of like nutritional issues and they're not getting what they need. So I thought that was really interesting.
That
And
is
so they
cool.
showed me like where my heartbeat was like off, showing that like I was not
There's
getting
a slight
enough
rhythmic dissonance or whatever.
Yeah. So that was like, that was really cool to like look at it that way too.
Interesting, yeah, because you know it's weird. I don't have a doctor. I haven't been a doctor in so long, like
Yeah.
ever really. I mean, every now and then I get sick, pretty rarely with like seasonal, whatever, once a year, once
Yeah.
every other year, sinus infection
Oh, a sinus.
or
yeah.
a sinus or whatever, some sort of something. And I'd know I'd be sick for like a week, and then it's not going away. And I'm like, I already know what I need. I need one of those damn antibiotic packs. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm like, I needed somebody to sign off on this. Mm-hmm. Like, I know that's what I need because as soon as I start taking the antibiotics and you run through them, then it's gone.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's been times where I was sick for 2 or 3 weeks without the antibiotics.
Yeah.
So I've learned over the time, I'm like, oh, here's that thing again. I just need a doctor signature for prescriptions. So I can get antibiotics to get rid of this shit. Yeah. And then I'm fine for another 2 years or whatever until I get it again.
Yo, Prompt Care on Indian Wells. They're awesome for that.
No shit.
Yeah, because they're like a urgent care, but they're also a family practice.
Cool. Because I used to go to this one. I had this doctor, but he moved. Moved out of town. Yeah. Well, he wasn't my doctor, but he's the guy. It was like a walk-in clinic. You know, and I'd tell him, I'd be like, dude, I just need those antibiotics. I already know. Yeah. Like, he'd check me out and be like, yeah, you're fucked up. Sinus stuff or, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, I just need antibiotics. You know? I've done this before. But anyway, other than that, I've never really gone, but it'd be interesting. I think it would be cool to get, like, checked out, you know, like on the level that you did.
Yeah.
Like blood and know where your blood work is and
especially
your oxygen levels.
Yeah, if you're into like collecting data
on yourself.
Yeah, I'm kind of into collecting data on myself because I always want to like seem to optimize like best performance. That's my extreme competitiveness.
Yeah. It's so available now too, the info, like the Huberman stuff and the cold plunging and the
and you can wear like Fitbits and like Garmin watches and Apple watches. Like my Fitbit, I'm always tracking.
Yeah.
But like, gosh, there's been like, especially like during COVID when I finally caught COVID and was like super super sick. Mm-hmm. I had been wearing my Fitbit for so many years, and then I wore it all through that, and then I wore it after. I could actually go back and see the data of my resting heart rate. And like my resting heart rate was, because I was like really fit, so I was in the low 50s resting heart rate. My resting heart rate for almost an entire year after having the Omicron variant, my resting heart rate was in the low 70s. And I was still at the similar fitness level, but my heart rate was like not recovered.
Wow.
Yeah. And like I wouldn't have known that.
You just had the data.
Yeah. I would have never noticed.
It's a trip.
And it's just like, I don't know, that interests me. I know it doesn't interest everybody, but yeah. So like going up to them, I was just like, yeah, I want to find out all the data on like my body, especially because, well, I was having a lot of health issues, like between my concussion and then like my autoimmune, trying to figure out, okay, what's an injury? What's my chronic illness? And how can I just try to live a better quality of life?
Right.
Yeah. So like, let's find out everything. And surprise, surprise, I learned a lot of stuff. Yeah. Concussions.
Sometimes you have a whole new door open.
Yeah.
Well, almost all the time. Like if you're willing to walk through it, I guess, you know, like where you're like, damn, okay, well, here's where my life's headed. Mm-hmm. Or here's where I'm at now. And I don't know, like your interests can change, you know?
Yeah.
Like health and all that stuff, you know, your athleticism and your soccer and just the CrossFit and all that. And then, you know, going through some of the injuries you had and then going to getting all that data on yourself and then wearing the Fitbit thing. And then it's kind of weird how we get like, we go down that rabbit hole. Uh-huh. It's not weird, but it's just,
yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, plus all the people I listen to.
It's holistic though. It's all related. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's holistic. Yeah, absolutely.
People think like holistic, the word holistic. Oh, he's just like one of those guys, like holistic medicine. Like, what do you fucking?
What do you think they had before we had the doctors we have now?
Holistic means the whole organism.
The whole organism.
Not just like, okay, I have a problem. Like, you know, I'm gonna go get a prescription and just take this for it. And you're like, that doesn't fucking fix it, dude. Like, you got to fix it from a biological level, from the inside out. Like, you know, from the cell.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know
Which
what
is
I'm
cool
saying.
about keto, intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Intermittent fasting. I mean, like, there's so much information out there about how that, like, helps, like, the cells actually heal themselves and reform.
they go, what is it called? It's autophagy.
Yeah.
And then the cells,
Yep.
your body starts cleaning up. Once it runs out of food to eat, it starts eating all the bad shit.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
it reverses itself.
Great health success, especially around my autoimmune, with doing intermittent fasting. Like nothing extreme, but just like consistent every day. Like you just don't eat. All you do is just drink water,
Push the window.
electrolytes, and by electrolytes I mean like straight electrolytes. You just put a little salt in your water, which is also good for people who are in ketosis.
Yep.
When they're low energy. But yeah, like my inflammation, like at one point I had my inflammation completely gone. No flare-ups, like I was in optimal health, and it was all because of how I was eating and exercising.
Nice. What kind of window was it, like with eating or not eating? What fasting window?
I played around with like the 12 and 12, and then like 14-10.
So nothing too crazy.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. There was at one point I was doing like 18-hour fasts, but I wasn't having the same success. And then I went and talked to a nutritionist, and he goes, "Well, fun fact, all the data out there that you've been researching is intermittent fasting only tested on men. And your guys' men and women hormones are different.
Way different."
He goes, 18 only works for like an age, like an age, like older women in this certain age range is good with 18-hour fasts. But you're not in that age range. Your hormones need this. He goes, so why don't you try 12 to 14? The second I hit 12 to 14, and at that time I was training for a fitness competition, and so I was leaning out as much as I could, and I had hit this plateau, and I was doing everything perfect, except I was fasting too long, and I wasn't getting enough complex carbs. I added just a couple packets of oatmeal into my protein shake, and stopped fasting for the long period of time, switched to like 13 hours. Dude, I lost like 2% body fat in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
It was just like, boom, like off.
That's a trip.
It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've heard a lot about, intermittent fasting, and I basically started doing it, but it's been a long time. Not a long time, but I'd say a couple of years, but basically just... whatever, like tonight, like we started podcasting, right?
Yeah.
I guess technically didn't eat dinner. I guess I had some food earlier with Amy at probably like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But now it's late. Yeah, I'm not going to eat now because it's like
Yeah.
pushing 11 o'clock at night. So, I mean, I could snack or something, but I might as well just push past it and not eat. Because it's not good to, eat and go to bed.
Yeah.
Kind of. Like, I mean,
it disturbs your circadian rhythm.
Right. There you go. So then... I can sleep all night, so or whatever, however long that is, 6 to 8 hours, whatever.
Yeah.
Then you wake up in the morning, and if you can push past breakfast to like at least lunch, that's usually what I do. Even let's say I even eat a normal dinner, or whatever dinner time is, and then just basically eat whatever you want at night, I guess. Even if you're like not trying to be all strict and you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
Even if you snack at night or whatever.
Eat what you normally eat.
Even if you eat at night, but then you go to bed, when you go to bed, you should get 6 to 8 hours right there. Usually. Yeah. So just push past breakfast till lunch, and then that automatically puts you at like 12 to 14 or whatever it is.
Exactly.
So it's kind of easy. Basically, you just skip breakfast. You just sleep.
You can skip breakfast, or you can just make sure you eat dinner like 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed.
There you go.
Yeah. And then when you wake up, like I found for me right now, I can really only manage like a 12 and 12. So I'll have dinner at 4. I go to bed at like 7:30. I wake up at 4, like 3:45, 4. I make my coffee.
Yeah.
I make my coffee with my oat milk.
I was like in outer space for a second, and the times hit me, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like 3:45.
Yeah, in the morning, and like I break my fast with my oat milk latte at like 4:15, 4:30 in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's kind of just been like what
It
I can do
works.
right now.
Everyone's different
Yeah.
too, so it's not like
Well, because
a
I
one
was
size
playing
fits
with
all.
skipping, like actually not having coffee, only drinking herbal tea, so that I wouldn't break my fast in the morning, and then trying to eat after the 9 a.m. class after I exercised,
Yeah.
and it wasn't ideal. Now, I used to exercise at 9 a.m. in Albuquerque and fast. I was totally fasted for my workout, and it was great. But I was sleeping till 8 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't up working at 4 o'clock in the morning, and that totally changed it for me. My body was saying, "Yo, like my brain, it needs fuel. Like I need something.
Yeah.
Like you're starving me right now." Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. You definitely have to play around with it. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did try to do a 24-hour fast one time. I about murdered my boyfriend at the time. I was like so hangry.
Yeah.
At 23 hours. I couldn't even make the 24 hours. I couldn't even make that last hour. But
Yeah.
you know what I wasn't doing? Salt in my water.
Electrolytes.
Electrolytes.
I have a supplement that I just got. This dude, Dr. Berg, electrolyte supplement. I'll show you before we leave. But
Oh, cool.
It's good
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, I've been doing that.
Yeah.
But they recommend that for fasting and people doing keto and stuff, and make sure your electrolytes. But
Yeah, I've tried the Element brand, the LMNT brand for their electrolytes. What was there was like this lab grade one that I was getting from GNC, just straight electrolytes. But lately I've been doing the liquid IV.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, it's just called liquid.
liquid. Okay,
No,
yeah.
not-
It just hit me. I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
Some people are on that shit.
Hey, actually,
Yeah. Intravenous fucking curcumin and vitamin, whatever.
my old roommate up in Albuquerque, her wife would have like saline packs, and there was a couple times that like I was having these like crazy flare ups, and come to find out that was other like concussion stuff with my whole inner ear, but this whole side would get really tight and tense, and so I thought I was extremely dehydrated because my muscles on my left side were just like locked up, super tense. So she would give me these like IVs. It
Fix you up.
it's so nice, like instantly hydrated.
Just straight to the blood.
It feels so good to like just get instant hydration like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I took advantage of that a few times.
Hell yeah. Why the
Yeah.
hell not?
Yeah.
Well, dang. I know you got to get up early.
Yeah, I do.
Let's call it. But thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, cool. This has
is
been a
super-
lot of fun.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Right
thanks.
on.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. See you guys.
See you guys.